Okay. Okay. Should be back now. Should be live. I do believe we are. Good. Okay. Just going to give it a few seconds here for everything to catch up. Just make sure everything is looking right. Just want to make sure here everything's working. Stream health looks good. Okay. Okay, I think we're looking good. All right. So making sure. Just want to make sure everything looks all right here. Okay. Okay, I do believe we are live. Just want to double check here. Make sure we're looking good. Think we're live. Just want to make sure here. Okay. If anyone's in here, sorry, I'm just checking to make sure it's actually working. We're actually live. I just want to be completely sure that everything's going as it should be. Okay, looks like we're good. It's like it should be working now. So I'll be start going over the results in just one moment. I just want to make sure. Okay, so it looks like we are officially working. Good. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so welcome back. If you're on my prior stream, I actually see it. Hi, Blue Wave. Good to see you. I thought you ended. So I did end the stream before. I just wanted because I was on for almost 2 hours at that point. It was on for an hour and 43 minutes. So I just took a little bit of a break. I got some food, got some water, kind of refreshed a little bit. There's also some other races going on, like the Georgia Senate and Governor Republican primary that are still going on. Last time I checked, so I kind of wanted to get a little break, refuel a little bit, be ready to go for those races. And as luck would have it, the Kentucky House race, not all the results are in yet, so I can kind of do both. So, sorry, I do apologize for ending the stream a little bit earlier. Just had to getting a little tired. Just want to get some food and some water in me so I could kind of refuel and keep going. So we're back, and this is where things currently stand on the House race. Before we ended it earlier, we saw that Ed Galrein did defeat the Republican representative Thomas Massie, now at 84.03% of the estimated vote in. Ed Galrein certainly leading here by a very large amount, 55,853 votes. And for Galrein, 46,318 for Thomas Massie. So we're looking at roughly 9,000 vote lead for Galrein over Thomas Massie in this race that looked like it'd be very close. Ultimately, Ed Galrein ended up winning here by a pretty substantial amount against the incumbent Thomas Massie. Blue Wave said, how do you think Texas will go now? I still have it listed slightly in the Republican direction. I have it listed right now as a lean R. The 2018 Senate race, where it was about a 3-point Republican win, is currently what I have it as for Paxton versus Talarico. But certainly I'm keeping a close eye on that one. That one is definitely subject to change as things start to unfold there, as that race is now going to be very interesting. So that's where the updated odds are on this race. In terms of the margin of victory, Boone County, which now still has 87% of the vote in, ended up being very big for Ed Galrein. What could make you call it a toss-up? Well, to be clear, I do it a little bit differently. Texas is already considered to be a toss-up on my rankings. So I do have it, actually, I think I have the map pulled up here. I do, that's for the video I did, but I do have it listed as one of my 10 toss-ups. The way I do toss-up is any state that's considered lean or under 5% margin of victory or lower. In my current predictions, I have it listed as a toss up. So technically, Texas is a toss up for my rankings, but I like to have it. I like to go and say it's going to be one way or the other just for prediction reasons and just for trying to be as transparent in my rankings as I can. So it is actually a toss up, but I just have it in the toss up category. I think Republicans narrowly win that for the toss up. Putting Kansas as solid again. I'm back and forth. The Adam Hamilton poll on Kansas is interesting. I think that one definitely could be likely. I'm waiting for one more poll to come out of Kansas before I officially move it to likely R for sure. Because I think it could be over 15 points. It could be under. I'm just waiting for a little more info on that one, but it definitely could be a likely R state. As for the Ed Gallrein, Thomas Massey one, just kind of wrapping this up, we'll come back to it in just one moment. Some very big results out of Kenton County, which is rightly a 5.7% win for Ed Gallrein in that one over Thomas Massey. And then we also have the Campbell County going for Ed Gallrein over Thomas Massey as well. So that's where things kind of left off on that side for the Ed Gallagher versus Thomas Massey race. Now we can start looking at some of the other ones that we have up here as well. We have the Senate race, and the Democratic side, Charles Booker is now leading Amy McGrath 44.09 to 38.36. So it's a very competitive race still. It's very close in the results, but it looks like Charles Booker is the leading candidate as of right now. On I believe the this is on the Georgia map, so a little bit over half the vote is in on the Georgia map, and it currently has the Republican Mike Collins definitely winning and advancing to the runoff election. We're waiting to see now between whether Derek Dooley or Buddy Carter will advance and go to the next runoff election. How things are currently looking right now, it's very close, but Derek Dooley has a lead of roughly about 8,000 votes, so it looks like Dooley will advance over Buddy Carter, but that can certainly change at any moment's notice in this race. But Dooley, I think going into it, seemed to be the more likely one to advance to the runoff. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. No votes out of Fulton County yet, but Cobb County's come in 38% for Derek Dooley. DeKalb County's come in as well for Derek Dooley over Mike Collins. That's where the Senate race is currently looking. The governor's race as well. It will not. We know it's going to be a runoff election for sure, and the candidates have already locked in. Burt Jones, the lieutenant governor, who is endorsed by President Trump, with 46.87% of the vote. Rick Jackson, the Republican outsider candidate, the businessman candidate that's really taken the race by storm. He is currently leading 34.67%. The rest of the field behind Burt Jones. These two will go to the runoff election between Jones and Jackson, and that'll be where things ultimately go. Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, and Chris Carr, the Attorney General, ultimately fall short of making it to the runoff election. So it'll be Burt Jones versus Rick Jackson on the governor's side, and on the Senate side, it'll be Mike Collins versus either Derek Dooley or Buddy Carter. Still have to wait and see. Let's see. Is based on polling. It's been the fundamentals. Kids are one of the fastest lower 26 U.S. And considering Roger only won by 10 in 2022, don't see a 51 margin room. Also, it's a hot take. I think Roger was only 5 points. Okay. You're making good points. You are making good points there for sure. Kansas, yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Those are good points. They voted for Trump by 16 points in 2024, 2020 by 14.6. So in a more blue election environment than 2024, it could fall under 15, but in 2020 it only fell under 15 by about half percentage point. So I get the logic you're making. I am close. I'm definitely close to putting it under there. Let's see. Hot take. I think Cooper wins in North Carolina by more than 5 points. I mean, it's funny because the polls right now for North Carolina are showing a blowout, like a 9-point lead for Cooper right now. 5 points. I'm split on because I think Cooper wins by under 5, but I could see it being like 52-47 or something like that, or 51-46 with like a third party candidate getting some votes. So I don't think over 4 or over 5 points in North Carolina is crazy. I definitely don't think that's too outside the realm of possibility on that one. I would have it under 5 right now, but I don't think you're off bases on that at all. I think that definitely could be the case there. As for the Senate race in Kentucky, Andy Barr's already officially won that one. We covered that before the stream ended earlier. So we know that's going to happen, that Andy Barr is going to be the Republican candidate on the Republican side in Kentucky. We're just waiting now on the Democratic primary. And then, yeah, the House, we know Ed Galrine, the big one of the night, defeated Thomas Massie, 54.67 to 45.33. So we're waiting for these to wrap up. And then once these are all wrapped up, we're going to have next Tuesday, we're going to have the primary election runoff between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton after President Trump endorsed Paxton in this race. Certainly going to be interesting to watch for. Ken Paxton likely favored now for sure, but definitely be interesting to watch and see how that all works out. Let's see. The problem is really Mo Walley's not a good candidate. He's never actually won an election. Is just known as an extremely partisan chair in a swing state. I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely in the early polling, showing him around 39 to 40% shows he's not really performing super strong. He's not like a former senator or governor like Roy Cooper is. Definitely, no doubt, Roy Cooper's a stronger candidate there. I mean, even Ted Budd, who won the Senate race in 2022, was at least a congressman that had in his district, he got elected statewide for his district at least. Whatley doesn't have that and certainly seems to be performing that way thus far. Whatley, being the RNC chair, I think does have a lot of money, which may give him some help in the final few months. But for now, yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for Whatley and the Republicans in that one. Okay, so let's leave it on the. I think I'll go with the Senate one for now on the Georgia Senate race as more votes come in. 48.01%. We can bounce around to and just see kind of see where everything's looking right now. Mike Collins getting 40.84% clearly shows he's the leading candidate right now. It's actually, I think, around the similar numbers that John Cornyn got in his primary. But Derek Dooley and Buddy Carter split between 28.32 and 26.74 for second place, 7,000 vote lead for Derek Dooley. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. In terms of ultimately who advances here to take on Mike Collins in the runoff, because I don't think Mike Collins, he needs to make up 10% to get to 50% and avoid the runoff. I don't think that's going to happen. Mike Collins is going to face off against one of Derek Dooley or Buddy Carter. It's just a wait and see here. Let's see here. Also, another hot take. Mary Peltola is favored to win Alaska. I don't believe the fundamentals matter that much, considering how strong Peltola is. I think of the comments you left, I think I agree with this one the most. I think we're seeing a pretty clear, consistent trend here. I think she's polling at like 49% in Alaska. Dan Sullivan polling like 43 to 44. At very least, that one's definitely a toss up. And Peltola is proven to be a very strong candidate in a more bluer election environment. I don't disagree with that at all. What do you think Texas would be at with a Wesley Hunt versus Tallarico? Um, Good question. Because I don't know if Wesley Hunt would do as strong as John Cornyn, but I think he would definitely do stronger than Ken Paxton. I think it would probably be like a maybe 5 point exact win. Because I do think Texas is going to revert back to the Democrats a little bit in 2026, seeing it as is going to be a strong midterm election for the Democrats. The polling of President Trump isn't good. The polling of the Republicans aren't good. So I do think Wesley Hunt would win that Senate race against Tallarico, but I think it'd be like a 5.5 point win. Where Ken Paxton now, I think I have around like a 3 point win, and John Cornyn I think would have been above 5 as well, maybe like a 6 point win or 6.5 point win. But yeah, good question. Okay, so yeah, there's like the main obviously story of the night was the fourth district in Kentucky. So we're kind of just watching these election results come in for the rest of the night, and we'll just see ultimately how it goes. Alaska is extremely hard to poll, and that makes it more internet-based polling, which is more Democratic biased. Yeah, it's true, and I think the ideology of Alaska certainly is what's making this race very interesting because it is a pretty likely red Republican state. I think it voted for Trump in 2024 by like 13.1%. The only thing that stops me from saying it's an automatic Republican win is in 2022, Peltola did win by 9.9% in a midterm, and in her House race, she lost to Nick Begich in 2024 by about 2 points. In 2024, a very strong Republican year. So, in a more Democratic friendly midterm, I think at very least it's possible that she can win that Senate race. And I don't know if she will, but I think at very least there's a possibility that she definitely could. Do you agree with my opinion that the loss of Dan Sullivan would make Murkowski more willing to switch sides because she won't have the pressure of another GOP colleague? Um, Interesting. I'm not sure because Murkowski is already very, I would say, vocal against President Trump and the MAGA wing of the Republican Party. If she wanted to switch to the Democrats, she could really do it anytime she wants. I don't know if the amount of pressure she gets now, I don't know if it'd be that greatly increased, to be honest. So I think to an extent, but I don't think she's staying a Republican because Dan Sullivan is her fellow senator. If it was a 50-50 Senate or maybe like a 51-49 Democratic Senate, maybe that may end up being like a, okay, I'll switch just to, or maybe an independent just to maybe be like a deciding vote on everything. I could see that argument. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on Trump endorsing Paxton? It's interesting. It's really interesting, and I have a video coming out on that tomorrow, more in depth. But it's definitely something that I think definitely angered a lot of senators in Washington. Trump endorsing Paxton. It's probably the general election move. It's worse for the Republicans. John Cornyn, I think, would have an easier time winning that general election than Ken Paxton would. Paxton's definitely the more Trump aligned Republican candidate. He has been the whole time. After the primary, where John Cornyn finished like 42%, Paxton got 40%, all the talk was really Cornyn outperformed. Trump may endorse John Cornyn and kind of reward him for being strong. And then Ken Paxton, I think, kind of laid the perfect like political trap of if John Cornyn gets the Save America Act passed, that he may even drop out of the race. And if that gets passed, Trump will probably endorse John Cornyn. Both John Cornyn and Senator John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, don't get the Save America Act passed. And I think certainly in closed circles, that definitely upset President Trump, definitely angered him. And Ken Paxton in his campaign, honestly, I mean, you definitely say what you want about Ken Paxton, but that was a brilliant move, whether it was him or his campaign. Using the Save America Act as leverage against John Cornyn was honestly brilliant. And boy, did it backfire on John Cornyn, and man, did it really help out Ken Paxton because I think Trump would have been okay with of endorsing Cornyn if Cornyn helped get that key legislation passed. But I mean, Trump, I think, wants the Save America Act more than probably any other bill, other than maybe the Big Beautiful bill from last year. And the fact that they couldn't get it done, the Republicans, and there wasn't the votes for it, I think Cornyn was probably almost certainly a no vote on that one. So I think that really helped Ken Paxton. I think that really kind of settled the race. Once that happened, now that Trump's endorsed Ken Paxton, I think we see the runoff election. We see Ken Paxton win it relatively pretty handily. Blue Eight. I don't mean switch parties. I mean like more willing to vote with them if she loses the pressure of Joby colleague who is more MAGA signed. Oh, okay, okay, I see what you mean. Um, yeah, I think you think she'll be voting with the Democrats and or voting more against the Republicans, more with the Democrats now that Sullivan's gone. I think it's I think it's possible. I think it's a possible scenario. I still think that, especially after Massey lost. I mean, I don't think Lisa Murkowski has any problems voting against the Republicans in the Senate. She does it quite a bit. But I could see maybe it going up a little bit for sure. It's kind of like a not final, but kind of like final rebuke of Trump going into an election year. I could definitely see it. She may like toe a fine line though, especially if the rumors are true, which is the outgoing governor Mike Dunleavy of Alaska. Trump is trying to get him to run against her, so maybe that could be the case. Of like she may decide to be more anti-Trump, but we'll have to an anti-Republican. We'll have to wait and see that one. Frontline said, "What do you think about Michigan?" Michigan right now is interesting. I do know Mike Rogers is nearly leading in the polls right now, but I do think it's a lean Democratic race. Whether it's Haley Stevens, Mallory McMorrow, or Abdul Sayed, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But I do think it's a lean Democratic race. I think in a swing state that Trump won by under 2 points in 2024, the Senate race, it was very close in 2024. It was under half percentage point, but I think we see this race go for lean Democrat in the midterms without Trump at the top of the ticket. I think Mike Rogers has less Republicans turning out for him. And I think Michigan goes lean Democrat around like a 2.5 to 3 point like win for the Democrats. As for the primary, no clue. Haley Stevens, Abdul Sayed, Mallory McMorrow, who's going to win? Any week is a different answer. Abdul Sayed has the momentum recently in that race, but Haley Stevens has the endorsements, I would say, more than the rest in that field. Mallory McMorrow has really kind of risen up out of nowhere. Now she's polling strongly too. Anyone's guess in that primary for me. Let's see, Mike is like the second least popular governor in the whole nation, though. He ain't winning. I hear you, but we also just saw Trump endorse Ed Galrine, and he defeated Thomas Massey in a district Massey won literally unopposed in 2024. Maybe in the general election that could be true, but I mean, President Trump has a lot of pull in a lot of states that vote Republican in their Republican primary. So we'll have to wait and see. I think Dunleavy has a decent chance at actually beating Lisa Murkowski if Trump puts all of his weight behind him like he did in this Thomas Massie race. I don't know if it's going to work 100%, but I at least think that it's possible. The popularity thing, though, according to the polls, yeah, you're spot on about that. Did you see the prediction markets had a moment earlier today of Talarico leading the Republicans, switch now Republicans leading Talarico, but slightly? I did see that actually. And in the video that's coming out tomorrow, I do actually address that in the video, but I did see that and I see why. I really do. I do think the Republicans still win that Senate race, but I do see why Democrats are very optimistic that Talarico is going to win. Ken Paxton being the Republican candidate is certainly a gift for the Democrats and gives the Democrats a chance at winning that race. But I did see that, and I definitely understand why. Yep. The Talarico lead happened the second after Trump endorsed Paxton. That is true. Yes, it did. Absolutely. Mike Dunleavy beat Mark Begich in 2018. Dunleavy can win for sure. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Personally, if you know the David and Goliath story, I think the Texas Senate race is that with Goliath being the GOP. It's possible. I mean, it's the right election environment for a Democrat to win an upset in 2026 if the Democrats do well, the Republicans continue to poll poorly. Talarico is definitely a stronger candidate than Ken Paxton from the lack of scandals. Paxton has a ton of scandals, so that definitely is true. 2020 election will be a similar result to the 2026 Senate race in Alaska. Let's take a look at that one. The governor's race in Alaska, I'm very curious on because that one really all over the place. 7-point win for Dunleavy versus Begich. It could be. It's just there's so many Republicans in the race and no one's really consolidating a lot of support. So I'm not really sure how it's ultimately going to shake out, especially now that ranked choice voting is actually like how it gets settled. So not sure how it's going to go, but I don't know. The Democrats definitely in Alaska. 2026 is their, I would say, first time in a while they have a really strong chance at winning the Senate and governor's race. I don't know if they will, but I think they at least have a non-zero chance of doing that. Oh, is that for the Senate race or the governor's race? Oh, for the Senate. Oh, okay, I read that wrong. I thought it was the governor's race. Yeah, no, I think it'll be tighter than that. Even if Dan Sullivan wins, I at the bare minimum, I think he wins by under 5 points. I don't think it's going to be a likely win or anything like that. Okay, we can look at the Senate race on the Democratic side of Kentucky. Now 66.23% of the vote here, and it is Charles Burger at 45.58. Amy McGrath is at 36.99. So Burger definitely running away, it seems, with the lead now as more votes come in. Looks like he'll end up winning and face off against Andy Barr once all the votes are cast here. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't think it's going to be 7 points. Senate race in Georgia. Collins obviously still the winner, 40.94, waiting on Derek Dooley and Buddy Carter to advance. For that one, he's advancing to the runoff. As for the governor one, again, just more votes will come in, still 49.45%. Burt Jones, the leading candidate, 37.23. Rick Jackson, 34.51. This is going to be interesting runoff to see in Georgia. Burt Jones or Rick Jackson, who's going to win, who's going to advance. And this one's going to be very interesting to see which one of them ends up winning because Burt Jones has the endorsement of Donald Trump. But, I mean, you look at Brad Raffensperger, 14.82%, Chris Carr, 11.34%. These candidates got a lot of vote, and Trump's top choice candidate getting 37.23%. If Jackson can consolidate the support of Raffensperger and Chris Carr, there's a decent chance Rick Jackson may be able to beat Burt Jones in this runoff. I don't know that he will, but at very least, it is a possibility that that could happen. Let's see. Good. Barry Commerce may not be obstacle to Targo during the post runoff campaigning. Yeah, I think I definitely agree with Brian's point there. That's going to be used in the campaign message against Talarico, I'd bet for sure. Will be better for Republicans in the 2026 Senate race. I think that Sullivan wins R+6 because losing candidates don't do well when they run for higher office. Uh, you're not wrong. You are correct about the losing candidates don't do well when they run for higher office. But I think election environment does matter to an extent. I do think 2026 is going to be a very strong Democratic night, at very least so that it's making the Senate race competitive. And I think it stays under 5 points for that. But again, we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. But I could see that certainly being the case on that. Let's see. The fourth district now, 85.77% of the vote in there. 9:06 p.m. But wow, that was very quick. 25 minutes that we've been on the stream here. Kind of thought results would be coming in a little bit quicker now. Oh, here we go. 76.86% out of Kentucky. Now a 12-point lead for Booker over Amy McGrath. I think this one's pretty close to being just about done for this one. Senate race in Georgia, still waiting for votes to come in. Actually, I might update the title of the live stream if I can. I don't know if I can do it while I'm going. Yeah, no, I'd have to end the stream to update the title, but oh wait, no, I don't. Okay, so I may just do this really quick. I may just edit the title of the stream while we're watching the results come in, just so I could be accurate. Now the Kentucky race is over. Just gonna do this part real quick. Georgia. Okay. Okay. So title is updated. So now we're gonna be. I mean, we're still gonna check in on the fourth district, but that's pretty much over. So we're gonna go back and forth on the Georgia races now, and probably have that be the main focus of the night. We have the Georgia Senate. We have the Georgia governor on the two Republican side. We could also switch off the Kentucky Democratic one as soon as that's called, but we could look for the Georgia governor on the 2026 uh, Democratic primary as well. I do believe Keisha Lance Bottoms was leading here by quite a bit earlier, so I wouldn't be shocked if she won it. All right, okay, so they haven't called it yet, but she's at 49.97% with about 47% of the vote in. So probably going to win this without having to go to a runoff. She's above 50% right now, winning nearly every single county in the state of Georgia. Keisha Lance Bottoms is. So I think definitely right now, Jeff Duncan, the former Republican lieutenant governor, only getting 7.3% of the vote. Georgia U.S. Senate, let's see here. Mike Collins getting 41.06% still. Yeah, okay, so now we're just kind of waiting to see the Georgia results come in. I'll be checking the stream or the chat in just 1 second. I just realized one typo I made in the title. And I want to do not Republican primary for governor, but Georgia governor primaries. Because we have the Republican and Democrat now. So, okay, just updated that. I did not update the thumbnail. It'll still be the Kentucky one, I just realized, but that I have to literally end the stream for to do that. So that's because I don't have the thumbnail made yet, but that's okay. Okay, let's see. What is chat saying? There might be voters who are not Republican or conservative, but are Democrat, independent, or moderate, who are socially liberal would disagree with Tyler Grove's two comments I mentioned, but vote for him. True, definitely possible. 2026 Hot Takes Platter will win Maine because he motivates turnout among Democrats. New Hampshire will also be much closer as John Sununu's name recognition and is less polarizing than other GOP candidates. All I think are true. I think I've said the past few months now since Sununu entered the race, I think this is going to be the closest Senate race in New Hampshire. Really not much of a bold take, but since the 2016 one, where it was under 1 point, the 2021 was an over 15-point win for Shaheen. The 2022 Don Bolduc race was a 9-point win for Maggie Hassan. At very least, I think Pappas versus Sununu is going to be more competitive. I think it narrowly falls under 5 points for right now, but I do think Chris Pappas is going to win. I think a large reason being is just the election environment again for the Democrats. I think is going to be strong. And in the state of New Hampshire, which almost certainly does not have a favorable view of President Trump, and probably not by even a little bit, it's probably like a 60-40 disapprove of Trump. I think that'll be enough for Chris Pappas to narrowly win. Pappas won his House races in the first district by a pretty healthy margin, and all of them, despite it being essentially a 50-50 district. I think we're going to see Pappas beat Sununu there, but I don't think it's going to be by like a super substantial margin due to the Sununu name and him and the former U.S. Senator being the candidate. As for Plattner in Maine, I've long gone with the assumption that it's going to be a close race that Plattner narrowly wins. And again, same reason, election environment, but I would stick with that. I would agree with your statement and your sentiment on that. As for the Senate race on the Republican side here, Dooley and Buddy Carter still remain locked in at 28.4, 26.4, so a 2 point lead for Derek Dooley with about 45% of the vote left to go, 55% of the vote in. Hear me out. PA governor will be closer than expected because Mastriano isn't running like D+8. That one I kind of disagree with because, yes, Stacey Garrity is a better Republican candidate than Doug Mastriano, but Shapiro's also the incumbent running in a more Democratic year. I think he probably wins by a similar margin, honestly, due to that. And I think he probably parlays that into a presidential run after that, too. But I think at a bare minimum, Shapiro's winning that race by like 12 points. So D+8, I think I disagree with, but I think we'll see it end up going Democratic for Shapiro. This is updating on the Senate side. We can check also the Georgia governor side as well here, where Keisha Lance Bottoms continues to be above 50% of the vote. So she looks like right now may be able to avoid a runoff, but we'll have to see as all the votes come in on that one. In terms of the House 4, no more votes. There's a little bit more, 85.77%, but Gal Ryan's still defeating Thomas Massey by right around nearly 10 points, actually, about over 9.7% in this race. The Georgia governor, Democrat side, the Republican U.S. senator, and the Republican governor. If you're just joining the governor's race, on the 2026 Republican side, Burt Jones and Rick Jackson will advance to a runoff election where Trump endorsed candidate Burt Jones and Rick Jackson, the outsider businessman. It'll be interesting to see, does Brian Kemp make an endorsement in this race of Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones? Does he make an endorsement of Rick Jackson in the runoff? We'll have to wait and see. I assume, obviously, Trump will probably stick with Burt Jones, as that's who he endorsed before the primary and continued to vouch support for. But I'm telling you that like 25% combined support of Raffensperger and Chris Carr. What they decide to do in that runoff is going to be very, very interesting. As I wouldn't say neither one of them are very like super pro-Trump Republicans. So going to be interesting to see how that ultimately all plays out. If James is better than Beto and Paxton's worse than Cruz, why do you think it'll be the same margin in Texas? Because I do think Texas is now more Republican than it was in 2018. Even though the election environment, I think, spells very good news for the Democrats, I think Texas has moved farther to the right than it was in 2018, where in 2016 it voted for Trump by 9 points, and then in 2020 it voted for Trump by 5.6, but then Trump won in 2024 by 13.7%. I think in between 2020 and 2024, a lot of people moved into Texas and a lot of Republicans moved in, and that may be enough to barely keep it in Republican hands. Ultimately, we'll find out in November if I'm correct on that or not, but I do think it won't be the exact same in terms of the same circumstances and Talarico should win, because I do think Texas is a little bit farther to the right now than it was in 2018. But again, we'll wait and see ultimately how that goes. Leave it on the Senate one for now. Let's see. How long until Trump backs Collins? I don't know. Trump honestly staying neutral in the main Senate race one or just being very quiet about it probably gives Susan Collins like the best chance at winning. Maine, I mean, I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024 by 7 points or so. Probably staying neutral or staying quiet in that one would probably be the best way for Susan Collins to try and win that race. I'm sure she probably wants that, whether she's saying it privately or publicly. That's what she probably wants. Um, but yeah, that's probably I think on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Talarico wins in the general with his two controversial comments. I wouldn't be surprised if Talarico wins in the comments. I mentioned because candidates are able to win generals, so obstacles might affect the result. I definitely think Talarico can win. I just, as of today, I don't think he does. I think it's going to be, he falls just a little bit short because a Democrat winning in Texas statewide is a very big obstacle to come, given how red of a state it usually is. But I do think he has the potential opportunity to maybe win. But I do still think Texas, like, it's not it's not Wisconsin. It's not Michigan. It's not a battleground state. It's a very reliably red state at the presidential level. The governor's race, Greg Abbott, I think, will win by a pretty healthy margin as well. So Paxton versus Talarico is certainly going to be very close. Talarico could win it. I just don't think I would say he's the favorite as of today. How long until Trump backed Mike Collins in Georgia? I'm a little surprised that Trump hasn't backed Mike Collins already, to be honest. Especially at 41.06. We do know that Brian Kemp backed Derek Dooley, and Trump and the Trump administration was not necessarily thrilled that he did that without consulting the president and them not kind of uniting behind a candidate together. I think if Derek Dooley finished in first place tonight, there was a decent chance Trump may be like, okay, I'll back Derek Dooley. He performed very strongly in the primary. But now that Collins is getting 41.6% of the vote and Buddy Carter's getting 26.43, if it is a runoff of Collins versus Dooley, I'd imagine we see Trump throw his support behind Mike Collins. He could decide to stay neutral, but as we saw with the Texas one, he usually makes an endorsement a week before and gives his sort of thoughts or insight on that. So I think we're going to see him support Mike Collins, but again, we'll have to wait and see for the runoff to be totally sure. But yeah, I think he will. First, Democrats had more voters in the primary, which didn't happen in 2018. Second, it went more red because more Latino voters, or it went more red because the Latino voters in the primary has shown mostly shifted back. Yeah, that's true. But I would argue that the Latino voters shifting back to the Democratic side is the reason why I think it's going to be a very close Senate race of like 2 or 3 point Republican win. I think Trump winning by 13.7% could be a large reason that Latino voters went more Republican. But I think them shifting back with PACs and scandals is what I think will make it a 2 or 3 point win. I don't think it's going to shift enough back to be a Democratic win as of today, just because I think Texas is too like already Republican and the roots of the state are too Republican. But again, we'll find out. We'll find out in November how it all goes. See, a little more votes come in, 58.42%. Still, Dooley and Buddy Carter are separate about 11,000 votes, so maybe a little bit of a gain there for Derek Dooley. The governor's race, a little more votes coming in as well, but we already know Burt Jones, 37.9, Rick Jackson, 33.89 are already sort of locked in for the runoff election, for the general election before that. So we know that's how that's going. And they do have an early voting tab on this one. The U.S. Senate, they do have a breakdown tab, so theirs seems to be working. Absentee mail, we see Collins and Carter, or Collins is first, Carter second, Dooley's third. Early in-person voting, Mike Collins won 95,000, Derek Dooley got 63,000, Buddy Carter won 61,000. Election day voting, as of these numbers, Mike Collins has 6,291, Buddy Carter 4,314, Derek Dooley 2,732. So it's interesting Dooley did the weakest among the election day vote. Mike Collins did the strongest among all three of the categories. But Buddy Carter doing decently strong on the election day vote and only a few thousand back of Derek Dooley on the early vote, which is interesting. So let's wait for more votes come in. I'm definitely losing my voice a little bit, so I probably need some water. Do I think black turnout goes down in Texas after Crockett lost? Um, Good question. I could definitely see some black voters maybe not turning out for Talarico in the same numbers, but I'm not too sure because I still think in a midterm election environment, I kind of think the voters that are going to get out to vote that are very passionate and involved that got out to vote for Jasmine Crockett may get out and vote for Talarico anyway, especially if they're aware of the scandals that Ken Paxton has. They may get out and vote. So I don't think Talarico will hit the black turnout numbers that Jasmine Crockett would, but I think he would still get a decent number of them. Where I think it'd be enough to make the race super close. So a little bit of yes, a little bit of no to answer your question, but I think he could still Talarico could get a very significant amount on that. What site are you using for the analytics? This is Decision Desk HQ for the results for the analytics on this one. The types of Texas Hispanic that I think shifted towards the Republican Party are socially conservative, liberal on immigration, and socially conservative, and pro legal immigration and illegal. Wait, what? Types of Hispanic that I think shifted towards the Republican Party are socially conservative, yep. Liberal on immigration, okay. And socially conservative and pro legal immigration. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So they're pro legal immigration, anti illegal immigration. Could be. I don't have like numbers like that in front of me or anything, but it certainly could be the case. Again, I think the special elections of 2026 and 2025 and the governor elections of 2025 showed the Democrats are in for a very big night, and there were a lot of voters shifting back to the Democrats. And I think 2026 is also going to be a similar election to that. I'm just unsure because we saw it go nearly safe Democrat in Virginia and New Jersey, but those states voted for Kamala Harris anyway. I'm a little more skeptical of is a state like Texas, which voted for Donald Trump by almost 14 points. I do think it's going to be a lot more competitive and maybe even fall under 5 points. I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough of a shift for a state like that to go Democratic, especially for a Senate race. It remains to be seen. Maybe it could be. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I think for me it's a little bit early for me to jump on and say that that's going to be the case, but it's definitely not impossible. Say just look forward to your election day streams because you interact with your audience more. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's. I mean, this is my what fourth live stream or fifth live stream. So the more I do it, the more I think I'm getting a little bit better at it, at interacting with the chat, looking at the results, trying to kind of manage both. It's definitely a work in progress. I haven't done it a ton, so I'm trying to get better each one I do. Do you think Talarico will end up winning Collin County? Oh man, probably not, but I hope so. Which one was? Okay, I'm gonna. I know this is not gonna go well. I'm gonna look on the map and I'm gonna try and find Collin County. It's been so long. I want to see if I can find it. It's somewhere. I thought it was somewhere over here. I'm probably off to a bad start already, aren't I? Oh, it's not up there. Oh God. Okay. This is gonna be bad. Blue Wave might need your help on it. I think I already forgot where Collin County was. Yeah. No, I can't find it. That's that's sad. Collin County. Collin County. Wasn't it on the border over here? No. This must be really painful if you know where Collin County is and I don't. It's like, oh boy. It's not. I don't think it's down here. Yeah, this is bad. North of Dallas. I was not even close. Okay, here it is. That must have been so painful to watch. 11.1% in 2024, 4.4% in 2020. It's possible. It's possible it can go blue. Let's look at the Senate race from 2018. So it looks like it was a lean Republican win in the 2018 Senate race. Does it go by county? It does. Okay. Collin County was 52.63 to 46.55. So it was about a 6 point Democratic win. So to me, it looks like a county that like it might be like a 2 to 3 point Republican win, kind of like statewide. It has the potential to flip. Actually, no. Let's look at the. Let's do that. Does it go? Oh, I can. No, no, I can. Okay. We're going to go look at Collin County from 2020 to 2024, moved 6.8% to the right. From 2016 to 2024, it moved 5.6% to the left. From 2012, it's moved 20.4% to the left. Okay, so it's definitely a Democratic trending county. See, that makes me think it might be able to go to the Democrats then. If it's shifting that far in the last like 12 years or whatever it is, or 14 years, that makes me think it might. It's a 6 point win. What is it in? Let's look at the Senate race in 2024. Then I can give you a final answer after this one. It's still voted red, but how much did it vote red by? It voted red 51 point. Ooh, interesting. Okay. 51.5 to 46.27, a 5 point win in that Senate race in 2024. Yeah, that could definitely if it's consistent where it's a 5 point win in that Senate race in 2024, to me that says it has the potential to flip blue if it's only going 5 points in that election in 2024 with Trump at the top of the ticket. I think Collin County could potentially flip blue then. I don't think I've ever looked at one county in Texas that long in my life, but that was kind of fun. Governor's race, 59.62. Senate race 58.37, 41.08. Governor side, Keisha Lance Bottoms went down a little bit, 58.64, but still above 50%. The Kentucky House race, still 86.56%, 104,000 votes. That's where things currently stand. Let's see. North of Dallas, where is Collin County? Does the entire border of the state? Sorry. No, it's okay. Yeah, honestly, I thought it was one of those that we talked about on the live stream in like the top square part of the state. I think I'm mixing it up with. I know when I'll definitely remember the county when I see it. There was one on like the northern part of the state that we were talking about that I thought it was. Was it Hansford? That might have been it. Hartley Moore. It was like really obscure. It was like a really obscure county. It was like one of the candidates won it. That it wasn't Talarico or Crockett, and one of the candidates won it. We were talking about that. I thought it was that one, but yeah. If Talarico or any of them were to win in Texas, they'd have to flip both Collin and Denton counties. Yeah, it definitely seems like it. Definitely. Um, it's funny on the presidential side, they both trended blue, but I think like in 2028 they'll probably remain red. But for the Senate race for Paxton versus Talarico, at very least, it's possible that they could potentially go to the Democrats. I wonder who won these. Was it Crockett or was it Talarico that won it? I'll come back to this. Texas race. Okay. Oh, they did both vote for Talarico. Okay. So Collin County went to Talarico 56.6 to 42.34. Denton went for Talarico by 10. So he had a pretty strong showing in these counties, and they're trending Democratic at the presidential level. They definitely, you know what? They definitely could. They definitely could go for the Democrat for Talarico. Okay, got that back up. Senate race back up. Let's see. I missed a few chats. Talarico. Yep. That one was on the east side of the border of the state. Okay. Yeah, it was on the east side. That sounds right. Um, that is on the eastern side of the state. Sorry, across the state. Ah, that's all right. Crockett won the Dallas area. Those two counties went Talarico. That's because Colin is leftward trending a lot because of suburban, and James is the kind of guy who would win over the suburbs. Talarico. Yeah, I mean, definitely fits that type of candidate. Someone that I think I agree with you would energize a lot of voters in the suburbs, Democrats and independents, and even maybe some like anti-Trump Republicans to get out and vote Democratic, or maybe even Republicans that just aren't thrilled with how things are going. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I honestly, that could be two very important counties to watch for because if Talarico is winning them, that could be a sign that maybe he's winning the state if those are both flipping. So that could be an important sign for 2026. Most interesting House race in 2026. Ooh, good question. Um, I'm just starting to kind of get into the House races, so I definitely have not taken a look at like most of them or even all of them, but I did the Pennsylvania ones, I did the Iowa ones. I'm like sneakily interested in Zach Nunn's Iowa 3rd District because I almost kind of like assume it's a foregone conclusion. Marinette Miller Meeks District, the first one, is going to flip. And just because it was so close in 2024, I imagine it will. But Zach Nunn, he won his, I think, by like 3.8%. I think it's like right in the range for it'll probably flip to the Democrats, but it's super close. And the incumbent's running. I'm like, it's kind of an interesting one. It's kind of like an under the radar one. Um, I asked, will a Democrat win X? And you said, I hope so. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that one bit. Me personally, Henry Cuellar or Wisconsin 3. Cuellar's race, I haven't done a ton of watching, but the Wisconsin 3rd one, definitely Van Orden versus Rebecca Cook. That's the thing. At this point, it's like, I remember for I think it was 2024 and 2022, I didn't really do much coverage of the House elections at all. Like, me covering the House is kind of a new thing to the channel. I started out doing just the Senate races. Then I think I started doing Senate and governor. And then for 2020, obviously, I paid attention to the presidential one, but I never really covered the House one just because there were so many House races that it would take so long. But this cycle, I'm actually paying more attention to the House ones. I'm starting to do more in depth House elections. So it is kind of interesting. I'm starting to learn these districts a little more. I'm starting to learn the names. And yeah, so I definitely know Wisconsin 3. Rebecca Cook versus Derek Van Orden. That one I've taken a look at. That one's kind of like the Iowa 3 as well. He won, I think, by, I want to say 3 points in 2024 as well. I want to say. So that's going to be right around that range for the Democrats to try and flip it. Yeah, 2.7, so it's even closer. So yeah, that's going to be a very close one. Definitely a potential flip to watch out for. He won it on the new map in 2022 by 3.7%. So yeah, for sure, the third district's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye out for. I think Rebecca Cook is going to be the Democrat candidate again. I don't know if that primary, I don't believe that primary has happened yet, but I imagine that she'll be the Democratic candidate once again. Let's see. I wish Biden won both Texas and both Collin and Denton counties back in 2020. Me personally, Coiler. Oh, I missed the. That was after that. Okay. Um. Got to keep doing the streams, man. They are a lot of fun. They're just like they take a little bit because they're usually at least like today I did an hour and 43 minutes on the first part of the stream, and that was one of the shortest one I've done. Usually they're like at least 2 hours, sometimes three. I think I did one for like five. So, and I was really tired. I think Blue Wave remembers that one. I was really tired after the 5 hour one with how long that one went. I was like barely able to talk by the end of that stream, but these are fun. It's just I haven't gone around doing them as much as I would like, but these are fun to do and to interact with everybody and answer the questions and have the conversation about these things. Like, I don't have many people in my day to day life asking me about the Wisconsin third district, so it's fun. What more do you think James will win? Wait, am I? This is a trap. Am I pronouncing this wrong? Nueces County, Nueces County. I feel like Nueces is right, but I'm definitely butchering that one. Southern eastern side. I feel like this one I should know. I feel like this one. This one sounds so familiar. Here it is. I knew it. I was like, I know this one. Oh wait, isn't this the This is the Corpus Christi district, I think. I want to say because this one sounds really familiar to me. Noises. Yeah, okay, here it is. Texas state population. Yep, Corpus Christi. Okay, this one I was like, this one sounds very familiar because I remember my election night video I did for Paxton versus Cornyn, which I do not have done yet for the runoff election, but I do want to do another one of those. So I wasn't planning, honestly, earlier today, I wasn't planning to live stream. I was planning to work on the election night and try and get that done. But I decided to do the live stream kind of last minute, and hopefully I can get the election night done as well. But I do remember Nueces County, or Nueces? I can speak Spanish decently well. Yeah, I definitely can. But Nueces County? Oh, interesting. Huh. But yeah, I knew it was Corpus Christi. I'll take that. Trump won it by 12, 55.2 to 43.76. Okay. Let's take a look at the Senate race for Cruz versus Colin Allred. Nueces County. It was 51.5 to 46.2. Interesting. So on the presidential side, it might have been equally as red as Collin County, but it was kind of equally as red as Collin County on the Senate side of things. So it was about a 5.5 point win for Cruz there. Yeah, so it kind of falls in the same boat as Collin County, honestly, in terms of can it flip, can it not flip. It sort of falls in that same sort of category. For Michigan, I tracked my endorsement because Elsa possibly being defeated by Rogers, McMorrow possibly being pro-Israel, and Stevens being an establishment Dem. It's honestly that Democratic Senate primary is really interesting to me in Michigan because I truthfully don't know. Like you said, all those candidates, I don't know which one's going to win, and that kind of makes it so interesting because I'm really unsure how it's going to all end up working out there. Got a little more vote, 54.88 for Ed Gallerine. Thomas Massey's at 45.12. 57,822 votes to 47,545. A 10,000 vote lead 10,300 vote lead for Gowron over Massey. Certainly did not expect that to be the case heading into the night. This being that big of a win for Gowron, did not definitely not see that coming. Keisha Lance Bottoms 58.73, still above 50%. The U.S. Senate, Mike Collins 41.04. Burt Jones 37.98, 33.88. So this governor's race essentially is all but it's literally locked in. Jones and Jackson advance to the runoff. The Senate race still waiting on. Um, yeah. I do think I don't know if you guys have an opinion on this. I do think starting the live stream around 6 p.m. kind of seemed like a good time. I mean, I'm looking at the views here and like it's definitely a lot lower than what it was earlier. Obviously, the House race was still going on in Kentucky, so it was kind of right in the middle of that. But I think the 6 p.m. time might have been a little bit better. The start time, this one, I think I started this around like I want to say 8:45. I think it was. It might have been a little too late in the night to start like a whole new one. So for my next live stream, I might start it. Oh, Texas is a little bit. What's Texas? 8 p.m. I think poll close. I think it is. So maybe, but I think 6 p.m. might not be a bad start time. Just try and get everyone kind of in and get the people watching and stuff. I think that might be a decent time for that. Okay, so the gap is still 10,000 votes between Dooley and Carter. I'm gonna refresh this just so it says the. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Lance Bottoms. I think they could probably make this call. I think she has enough support to break 50% of the vote. I don't really see why she wouldn't. Also, former mayor of Atlanta. Let's see how she's doing in Fulton. Fulton hasn't come in yet, but she's doing very strongly. Cobb County, Douglas, Fayette, Clayton, the surrounding areas. DeKalb County, she's doing good. Gwinnett County. Yeah, so I think Lance Bottoms will win outright. I don't think a runoff is going to be needed. The Senate sign between Dooley and Carter, I still think it's going to be Derek Dooley that advances, but again, we'll see how it all looks out. And let's see. Stream's looking good. Yeah, it was 8:41 p.m. is when I started this one. Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping we can get a call relatively soon on Dooley versus Buddy Carter. I don't know if we will, but it's only a 2% difference. Though the Louisiana one with Bill Cassidy that was on Saturday. That was not too big of a difference between John Fleming and Bill Cassidy, and they were able to call that one. So we might get one for Derek Dooley and Buddy Carter relatively soon. But yeah, interesting that Dooley's doing well in the Atlanta metropolis area. Yeah, it is. It is interesting. That seems to be where his base of support is coming from. Also up here in Rabun County as well. But yeah, Cobb County, Dooley's doing the best here, 39.63%. Douglas County, 37.59. No votes out of Fulton County, but DeKalb County, 44.77% there. Dooley doing well in Gwinnett County, 38.52. It is interesting. I do wonder because these areas are so big by population, but it is a Republican primary and they're heavily Democratic. I do wonder the votes here. Yeah, so 30,000 votes out of Cobb County. Gwinnett's getting 28,000. Interesting, interesting. It doesn't do it the same way as the House race does in terms of the estimated vote and stuff. I don't think, but oh, so I have that turned off. Maybe I have that turned off. I do. Okay, I have estimated vote remaining turned off and reported percentage. Okay, so that's not the map's fault. That was my fault. Okay, so here we go. Total registration Fulton should be, yeah, Fulton's the highest, 846. Within Gwinnett, 647. Cobb, 566. DeKalb, 565. So I'd imagine we're going to see Dooley end up winning these top four counties when everything is said and done. So there's no votes out of Fulton County yet, and those are 52,000 or so votes here. We may see Derek Dooley. He probably won't overtake Mike Collins because he's leading by like 80,000 votes, but it's possible we see these margins get pretty significant where it's like Mike Collins is at 41, maybe Derek Dooley gets up to like 35% or something, and maybe kind of like puts it away a little bit. You should do like Zoom meetings where like you and the audience should just chat politics or something. Interesting. Um, it's not a bad idea actually. It's a pretty good idea. I don't like to chat. I usually like to stick on the election stuff. I don't like to give my opinions and thoughts too much on stuff. So I try and stay like as neutral as possible and just talk about the election stuff. I mean, I definitely could, but I don't know. Oh, you mean about election stuff? Not a bad idea. Definitely not a bad idea. Definitely something I should consider doing. Honestly, the stream stuff, there's so much stuff that I honestly don't know how to do. Like the Zoom stuff and having people call in stuff. Like I maybe could try and figure it out because right now I do not know how all that stuff works, but I could certainly look into trying to get that for future streams. I also just noticed Buddy Carter's winning this entire section of the state of Georgia, and I did not notice that until now, which is kind of funny. This is this that must be the district he represents, probably, right? Yep, that makes sense. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, wow, this whole entire area of the state is voting for Buddy Carter. The Savannah, Chatham County. That makes sense. I was like, wow, he's doing really well down here. That's his district. That makes sense. Which district does Mike Collins represent? He represents the 10th district, so up through here outside of the Atlanta area. Okay. So yeah, his support, Mike Collins' support is doing very well, like through here. That makes sense. Jimmy Snow. I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue who Jimmy Snow is, but I'll take it. Thank you. What would you and I do each stream? Oh, okay. Buddy Dooley to win. Buddy Dooley to win the Democrat primary. Oh boy, popularity, popularity factor. Yep. Buddy Dooley. I still don't know how that happened the last time. Whereas what was the name again? I'm blanking on it. It was who did I mix up? Was it Ken Cornyn? Was that what it was? It was Ken Cornyn, right? John Paxson sounds way too normal. It's probably Ken Cornyn. Buddy Dooley. Why does it sound like a very Georgia like congressman name though? Buddy Carter, Derek Dooley, Buddy Dooley. I can see it. Derek Carter. I don't know where I'm going with this. 71.24% of the vote in. Still no vote yet out of Fulton County. Once Fulton County comes in, that's probably gonna really clear things up. I wouldn't be shocked if like the second Fulton County comes in, Derek Dooley gets the projection for like being the second Republican to advance to the runoff. Unless Mike Collins like shocks everybody and wins Fulton County, maybe he wins the race outright. But I would imagine Derek Dooley will win Fulton County, and then he'll lock himself in for the runoff election. Let's see here. I did just notice the market odds in this one. Mike Collins on Couchy's at 93% now. Derek Dooley is down at 8, which is funny because heading into the race in the last like month or so, it got really tight around May like 10th. It became like 50-50. Dooley even took the lead for a little bit. And then Mike Collins took the lead again. And now this is where we're at with the results, where Mike Collins seems to be the strong favorite as of right now. What can James Talrico win Roberts County? Personally, that Derek is the only candidate who even has a chance of beating Ossoff. It's interesting. I think honestly against all three of them, I think John Ossoff is favored, and I think he wins in all three of the matchups. I think Derek Dooley having the backing of Brian Kemp, I think is very significant. But it's interesting that in North Carolina, we talked about Michael Watley, who's a first time candidate. He is the RNC chair and he has lots of money, but he doesn't have any electoral experience. Derek Dooley, I think, is kind of fitting a similar mold where he's a former football coach from the University of Tennessee. So he doesn't have any prior political experience. That doesn't mean he can't win, but Mike Collins and Buddy Carter are at least like congressmen, and Mike Collins seems to have a pretty large support among the Republican primary already locked up. Between Collins or Dooley, I'm not sure who gives the Republicans a better chance. I do think it's interesting. I think I have the polling. Let me pull up the Senate rankings because I'm pretty sure in the Senate race for the early polling, Ossoff does the best, I think, against Derek Dooley, but it's also 46.7 to 39.9, and there's 13.4% undecided. For Collins, Ossoff is 47.3 to 43, and then for Buddy Carter, it's 47 to 42.3. So Derek Dooley has the lowest amount of Republican support of any of the three major candidates based on the few polls we have, including the Emerson poll. But Ossoff also has the lowest amount by about 0.3% of the Democratic support as well. So it's kind of like pick whichever one you want for that Emerson poll. Ossoff had 48, Collins had 43, Ossoff had 49, Dooley had 41, and then Carter and Ossoff was 47, 44. So based on the Emerson poll, Buddy Carter would technically be the best Republican based on that, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think all three of the Republicans, I think, have like a small chance of winning, but I think John Ossoff probably wins like most of the time in this race. I just think in the election environment, again, sort of like if we're talking about Texas being a potential Democratic flip, I just have a hard time seeing a Democratic incumbent losing in Georgia. But especially as this state, I'm expecting the Atlanta area to definitely trend more to the Democratic side in this election like it has in the past few. But yeah. Let's see. Can James win Roberts? Yeah, I'm not even gonna try and guess where Roberts County is without you telling me. Oh, actually, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I'm going to use my cheat sheet, aka Wikipedia, and we are going to go to the results by county. Roberts County in 2024, 95.6 to 3.5. If that's where it is, no. Okay, it's up there. Northwest. Northwest. It is in Texas, right? Roberts. I'm going to do more research on the Texas counties. It's east of where you are. Okay. Here it is. Yeah, no. 92.1% 2024. Yeah, no. I don't think so. Now I'm curious to see what it was in the Senate race. 94.9 to yeah, yeah, come on. I know you're joking, but if that county's going blue, Senator James Talarico is winning by a very, very large amount. One more. Okay. Still waiting more results come in on the Derek Dooley Buddy Carter race. And just would you say James won't win Montgomery County, but how much do you think he can make up the margins to lose by? It's north of Harris, Houston. Okay, it is Montgomery County, north of Houston. 45.5% win in 2024 in the presidential race. By county, Montgomery County. Let's see here. 69 to 28. So about a 40-point win. Cutting the margins in half for Talarico might be a little much, but I can think at least from 40, it can go down to like 30, maybe 28, 30 if he has a really good night. It definitely seems to be like a more Republican locked in area, but I think maybe like a 30-point victory is possible. If it is, Talarico's probably winning out of the Senate race if he's doing a massive overperformance like that, but it's it's something. It has hundreds of thousands of votes. It does. It has a ton of votes in that county, which is kind of weird. Or not weird, but it has so many voters in it and it's so overwhelmingly Republican. But yeah. I think like Republican plus 30 maybe. Let's see here. 950. Getting close. It's funny. The Georgia results are kind of coming in a lot slower than the Kentucky ones did. Burt Jones up to 38.63%. Rick Jackson's at 33.38. Raffensperger and Chris Carr were way behind there. Buddy Carter and Derek Dooley. Dooley's ahead of Carter by what's that? 18,000 votes. It's funny. You're just really waiting on Fulton County. Once Fulton County comes in, I think we're gonna get a lot of answers to how this is currently looking. That'll really open up, and we'll get an indicator of if Derek Dooley will advance to the runoff or not, which I think he will. But you have to wait on that. Just me and my decision desk account. Oh, awesome. I really like it. I honestly really do. Decision desk is one that obviously I've seen. I know you guys mentioned the chat before in the live streams. I've seen it on X a bunch, but I never had an account until like a few months ago, until I tried it in one of the live streams, and I actually really enjoy it for the election nights. I think they kind of display the stuff and the information really good. I think it's pretty visually well like played out. I don't know if it's as visually well as like New York Times, but I think it's pretty good. I think I like it for the live streams. I think it's a nice way of organizing it. The table of all the counties down here to look at the estimated votes remaining and stuff. I think they do good stuff. The governor's side and the Democrats, 60% now. Lance Bottoms still above 58.36%. I wonder if they're waiting for Fulton County and the Democratic side to make a call as well. Because I feel like this one you could probably say Lance Bottoms is going to win outright. I don't think she's going to have to go to a runoff election, but maybe they're waiting for Fulton County to be like definitively like they're being very careful about it. No more votes really out of the Gal Ryan Massey race, still 87.47 there. Let's see. Oh, do you think that James could do better in Amarillo County or Amarillo County, being one of the few Senate candidates who's actually visited there recently? I mean, I think him visiting there is certainly going to help. It's going to be like, I think certainly showing up and doing events in counties like that, especially in like a grassroots level, I think could definitely help him. Amarillo County. Let's look at it. Amarillo. Did I go right by it? I don't see it on the county map. Hmm. Okay, that's weird. But if it's a real county, yes. It's not a county. It's in the Potter and Randall. Oh, it's a town. Oh, I don't have the precinct map loaded up. I think Vote Hub I think has that. I don't know. Does oh no, Decision Desk has it. It may not work. It may like sign me out and like sign me back in. I don't know if it'll work, but I can look for it. This is really neat. I haven't used this yet. Okay, Amarillo voted 49.9 to 48.43. Interesting. They're west of Roberts. Yeah, interesting. Oh, it's like glitching out. Um, I mean, look at how close it is. 49.9 to 48.43, a 1.6% difference here. I would imagine the Senate race it probably voted blue. Yeah, it voted 49.33, 47.98. So I think I think James Talrico will definitely win it. And I think, yeah, I don't know what the vote numbers are. I think they're going nationwide here, but the percentages I think are right. Yeah, Talrico I think will probably win it. He'll probably win it, honestly, if Colin Allred beat Ted Cruz here by like around 2 points or so. At least like a minimum of like 5 to 6 points, Talrico will probably win it. And yeah, if he's actually visiting it, I would say so. I would say he would do better there. Kentucky, nothing really there. Georgia, 61.5 on the Democratic side. Senate race, still 72.5. Governor's race, 73.9. Looks like a few more votes came in over here. But again, Burt Jones, Rick Jackson advancing to the runoff. I haven't seen anything also because I'm not on my phone, but if there's anything on Twitter about President Trump or Brian Kemp endorsing any candidates in Georgia I don't know about, you can let me know. I don't think there is anything, but if there is, you can keep an eye out for that as well. Um, the percentages are referring to the national popular vote instead of the emerald itself. Oh, interesting. Are you sure though? Because, no, is it, oh, wait a minute, you might be right. Yeah, Trump got 49.8, 48.3. Yeah, you're right. Yep. That's so weird though, because that was a popular vote at the presidential level, but at the Senate level, oh, I get it. Okay. Yep. So now if we look at the Senate, it's going to be, yep, 49.1. Republicans got 47.7. National precinct map, 49.3. Okay. We'll close the precinct map. I think we're done with that. Hmm. Okay. So now we're just kind of just waiting for the Fulton County votes to drop. Once those do, we'll get a clearer picture on this. Uh, so 72% of the vote. There, the margins here. It is interesting. Mike Collins seems to do very well throughout most of the smaller red, like typical Republican rural counties throughout Georgia. The Savannah area and then the smaller counties along this congressional district that Buddy Carter represents, he's doing very well here. And then Derek Dooley's main base of support seems to be the heavily, usually Democratic areas of Atlanta, Cobb County, DeKalb, Gwinnett County. It is interesting. And once we get the final votes from Fulton County, we'll get a clearer picture on this. But that is kind of interesting how things are shaping up there. Yeah. Oh, my monitor went to sleep. Okay, here we go. Some of this produce not swearing rather frizzly hurts anymore not be able to find call. I mean, definitely I'm not pretending to definitely don't ever claim to be a very great pronouncer of stuff, especially like Texas. I mean, Texas counties alone, me and trying to pronounce those counties, oh boy. N- new a like bet new a. Yeah, it's so funny. It's spelled nothing like it sounds. Like it makes a th sound, but it's ces. Like I mean, I don't doubt that's how it is. It's what it is. It's just it's so different than like anything I'm used to. So it's Nueces County. Yeah, Nueces County. That's I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's how it is. I don't know if I'm ever gonna. Nevada alone took me a long time. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that one too. I was like, I just fight fire with fire. I'm like, no, Nevada. It's like, ooh, fight fire with fire. No, look up how to pronounce it. I can't explain it. I have no. I think you're explaining it good. It's just like I just think it's a little like foreign for me and trying to say it like the proper way, but it's all right. On the bright side, I don't have to say it too often unless I'm doing a live stream. It usually doesn't come up. Oh, is that really? Oh, that's funny. The Spanish pronunciation is Nevada, and then the English one's Nevada. Did not know that. That's funny. That's fine. We're at the pronunciation waiting for election results out of Fulton County part of the election night live stream. We're at that part. Governor side, another few more votes. Democratic side, a few more handful of votes as well. A few of the counties start to get some votes in. Kentucky, another percent of vote has come in this district for the Ed Gallerine and Thomas Massey results. Just looking at these numbers here, it is interesting. Oldham did end up ultimately going to Ed Gallerine over Thomas Massey, even though it was close. Ed Gallerine did end up pulling off the victory here. Still a little bit of vote left to go there. Another 11 or another 800, 1,800 votes or so, but it's interesting that Gallerine ended up winning that. Oh, it looks like 74.78% got a few more votes in on Georgia. The Senate side still waiting. 76% now on the governor's side. On the Democratic side, it's still the same. So now we're just waiting, really waiting for Fulton County. Let's see. C typically makes the TH sound. Emily, though, that's more of an accent thing. So if you said no A says county, they'd still understand. Oh. V's are often pronounced like B's in Spanish, such as the word vosotros being vosotros. Oh, interesting. What was vosotros? That wasn't was vosotros like we or like we all for the I thought it was nosotros and vosotros. There's I forget what vosotros was. Vosotros the formal we think it was. You guys, okay, yeah. No, I wasn't even close. We is nosotros. Okay, it's definitely been a long time since I kept up with that. Yeah, we is nosotros. Vosotros is you guys. Okay, but it's only used in, right. That's right. Only used in Spain. That's right. I have no doubt that if you're taking Spanish in school, you're doing better in it than I did. No doubt. Okay. It's so funny that like 75% of the vote is in, and there's a handful of counties where there's no votes in yet, but we're really waiting mainly on Fulton County again because look at all the votes that are left outstanding. I don't think they all add up to the 52,000 that are out in Fulton. So actually, maybe that's not true. They may add up to it, but it is just interesting. We're still waiting for votes out of Fulton and Cobb County. Some votes left, and that's gonna probably put Derek Dooley over the top. But just gotta wait for those votes to come in before we know it for sure. Ustedes is that's the only way in Latin America. It's considered the formal version of vosotros in Spain. Kind of like if vosotros equals you guys, ustedes equals you all. Hmm. It's funny. I remember learning this in like Spanish class in school. It's been so long, but as you type the words out, like the memories slowly start to come back. Like nosotros, I recognize. Ustedes, recognize. I remember usted was on there. Ustedes. I'm blanking on. Was it? It wasn't L, was it? Or it was L la usted. It's like it's all like slowly coming. It's like coming back in like fragments. I'm remembering like 20% of what it was, but I don't remember like all of it. But I do remember that part. Not too long ago, but I do remember that part. Usted is right. I say usted is usted. Is it usted? Not usted. It's usted. Okay. uh, well, that's what the live streams do. That's what they cause. Me trying to speak Spanish, it causes those. Oh boy. Okay, let's do a quick check. No new vote there. No new vote there. No new vote there. Are there any other oh, I am actually missing one race that I want to check on. The Alabama Republican Senate race I want to check on. Here we go. 33.15% of the vote in here. Barrymore. Ooh, interesting. Barrymore, the Republican, has already been projected as the. Although, do they do a runoff as well if it doesn't break 50%? I think they do. Yeah, okay, so Barrymore's not the winner per se, but he wins and advances to the runoff. That's very that's very close, but the emphasis with Usted is more on the eh, so it's Usted more so than Usted. Usted. Hmm. So Barrymore, which is interesting because in the final odds here on Polymarket, Barrymore and Jared Hudson got very close, and then it split towards Barrymore being at 86% as the votes started coming in. Kalshi looks very similar, but Barrymore now 42.05%. I'm a little surprised Jared Hudson's in third place right now. It's close. It's 24.18 to 22.14, kind of similar to the Georgia race. But I thought Jared Hudson was the polling leader heading into this. Yeah, he was. 29.2% in the final polling average. Barrymore 25.1, Steve Marshall 14.10. So Barrymore, he was endorsed by Donald Trump though, so it's not really too surprising that he's leading, but 42.05%, certainly pretty high. And then Steve Marshall and Jared Hudson still fighting it out for uh for second place in the runoff is interesting as well. Definitely did not count to see that coming. Kentucky, Georgia governor, Senate. I know the second I look away and stop paying attention to this, Fulton County's gonna come in, but just waiting. Just waiting for the results to come in. Just waiting. So let's see. It's roughly about a 17,000 vote gap between Dooley and Buddy Carter. These areas that Carter's winning, he's winning a lot of them by near 95%. So 66% here. So there'll be a few more votes for Buddy Carter out of there, out of Chatham. But then Derek Dooley's going to get probably a lot of votes if Fulton County comes in for him, like how DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, and Cobb did. If Fulton County comes in like that for Derek Dooley, that'll probably put the race away and give Derek Dooley the second spot in the runoff. If it doesn't, if Mike Collins comes in and does really well in Fulton County for some reason, or Buddy Carter does, it does open up the possibility that Derek Dooley might not get the runoff spot, but it looks like it's going to be Derek Dooley and Mike Collins in the runoff. But just waiting for those final results to come in. It's like saying hello, but instead emphasizing the hell and then saying it louder than oh. Hello. Yeah. No, I understand. It's all good. That'd be funny. Hello. Or hello. Yeah, it'd be weird. Hello. All good. All good. Also, when did it passed 10 o'clock? It's 10 p.m. already. Or 10:09 p.m. in the Eastern time. So interesting, interesting. Fulton County doing Fulton County things. As in taking forever. But it's all good because I know once the vote dump comes in Fulton County, the race is going to be over. Essentially, in the Senate race, it's going to be over. In the governor's race, it's probably going to be over. In the Democratic governor's race as well. So it's just taking a while, but for the meantime, we have the Alabama Senate race to look at as well. You're getting better. uh, let's see. Hudson, interesting. So Birmingham, Alabama, Cabell, only 3.55%, but Hudson is leading there. Mobile down here, Moore's doing well. Is that the district that he represents down there? Yes, it is. Okay. So that makes sense. So he's doing very well, kind of like the Georgia one. Barrymore's doing very well in his congressional district. He's getting a lot of the votes down here. Lots of votes still left for grabs for Steve Marshall and Jared Hudson throughout the rest of the state of Alabama. So just waiting for that. Or wait, you understood that? Uh, well, should I not? It's in English on the thing, so it should be. But I hope. I don't know. Okay, so it looks like I got a little bit more vote. 76.47 now. Or was it like that before? Am I seeing stuff? I feel like it's a little bit higher now. Maybe a little more, no, maybe that's where it was. 77.86 on the governor's side. The Senate side still waiting a little bit. I never noticed actually before. The lines at the top of the Decision Desk HQ page represents the leading candidates: Burt Jones, Rick Jackson. The Senate side, Mike Collins. I don't know why I've always focused on the results. I've never bothered to look up and notice that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so for the next live stream, I noticed that. Ed Gallery still 88.53% of the vote in there. Um, I don't know if I need to do it, but I could do a recap video for either Wednesday or Thursday of the elections that took place tonight for Wednesday or Thursday if I wanted to on these ones, but the live streams I feel like kind of do a good job of doing that. So I don't know if I really need to, but I could probably do a video on on these videos for either tomorrow or for Thursday, but I want to get the probably do it for Thursday. I want to get the Ken Paxton video out probably while the news is fresh. Then again, Thomas Massey, that news is fresh too, so you wanted the two. Which one do you prefer, Vote Hub or Decision Desk? Um, Vote Hub or Decision Desk. I think they're both great. I think I probably slightly prefer Decision Desk. I think they both work good in terms of reporting the votes and doing it very quickly. I just think Decision Desk looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, I think, both to me and I think for a potential live stream. So I like Decision Desk a little bit better, but I think they're both pretty good. I don't really have a gripe against either one. Bro, I was supposed to be in Spanish. Do you use ChatGPT? No, I don't. To do a video on the videos. Actually, no, I don't. I don't use any AI for the videos. Like all the stuff I use are the websites that they are, or if I'm doing election night, I make all the graphics myself. I don't use any AI. So yeah, I don't know. I just like to be. It's not a massive deal. I just like to make it myself and be more authentic. I don't like to use AI for that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of just it. No, I mean like at all. Oh no, I don't really need to. I just don't really have a use for it. Like not in school anymore, so I don't have to do it for like assignments or anything. Not that you should, obviously. Don't cheat, don't do that, but not really need to. I'm liking Decision Desk more than Vote Hub. I have accounts for both. I think I do too. I do think I like Decision Desk more personally. I think it looks better. It's almost kind of like to me, Decision Desk kind of reminds me of like a New York Times combined with like a CNN site for updating the stuff, and I kind of like the way it all kind of looks and gels together. So I like it. Let's see. Still 76.77. I'm definitely going to look away and the results are going to come in. But it's all right. So almost all of the counties in the Democratic side now are starting to come in. Also, Lance Bottoms is winning literally, I think, every single county on the Democratic side. So I don't, it's gone down to 57.51, but I don't see how this does go to a runoff once Fulton County comes in. I think we're going to see Lance Bottoms win outright. No more votes in the Kentucky one. Alabama up to 41.44%. Marshall 24.1. Hudson 22.6. So have to wait and see. Barrymore clearly though the Trump endorsed candidate, the runaway leader thus far. Won his district of Mobile by quite a lot. You said a couple of funny incorrect things in your videos as of late. Honestly, I've been cranking out so many videos. I'm trying to do them fast and trying to get them out. I probably slipped up a few things. aggregate polls, the average of the. Oh, that's gone. About Emerson, Corner versus. You said Emerson versus Talarico. No. Make a video on the video. Maybe that'll become like my own little language there. The video on the videos, Emerson versus Talarico. It's like I think I'm like doing it so quickly in the moment. It all kind of just like jumbles them trying to like get it out and like say it quickly before. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be funny. It's like trademark that. I don't know. Obviously, it's not intentional. I'm trying to make the videos and get them out. But what's the nail biter of Emerson versus Talarico? Ooh, that'd be a fun one. Who has more campaign fundraising, Emerson or Talarico? Probably Talarico. Oh, Ossoff, I know definitely would. They have the fundraising still on here. Yeah, Ossoff has raised over almost 78 million, so he'll definitely have the money advantage on that one. Texas. Yeah, Talarico's already raised like 20.7 million. Although, wow, he spent already 15.9 of it. That's wow. Oh, nope. There we go. Okay, that's right. I thought he had more. Wow. Talarico's raised 40.2 million, spent 30.4 of it. Now is about nearly 10 million cash on hand. Well, I'm just saying, Emerson might be a little outspent by Talarico. Talarico, I think, has got the fundraising edge there. Okay, so the governor's race is up to 81.65, so might be seeing a Senate jump in a few seconds here. Still 38.7 to 32.97 for Jones versus Jackson. We're going to leave it here just for if it does jump in any second. But still no votes out of Fulton yet. Still waiting on that. Also needs to shut. He's $5 respectfully. Honestly, I have not seen that. I'll take your word for it, but I have not seen that. Is that like a thing about like a fundraising thing or something? Like average donations like $5 or something? Is it something like that? Oh. Yeah, he's raised 70 million. Is he saying his average donation is like $5 per? Oh, and I looked away and it updated. Okay. Alrighty. So now 80.46% of the vote. Like I thought, 81.93 on this one, 80.46. So still waiting on votes out of Fulton County. But Mike Collins is at 41.08%. Derek Dooley's at 29.07. Buddy Carter's at 25.78. Now we're looking at like about 25,000 vote lead for Derek Dooley over Buddy Carter. So again, once Fulton County drops and we get an idea of how many votes Derek Dooley and Buddy Carter get, I think we're going to see Derek Dooley essentially lock out Buddy Carter of the runoff if Fulton County and Atlanta comes in the way we expect it will. But again, we'll have to wait and see for that. $5. Could you give me $5? Oh no, I haven't seen that. That is funny. Yeah, $70 million. Can I have $5? Like, yeah. Well, as crazy as it may sound, $70 million for the election campaign may be ready to spend all of it, but that's politics. That's the elections. That's what we got. That's how, as the Massey primary showed, that's a lot of money in this stuff. Some are feeling anxiety on March 4th due to the possibility of Cornyn possibly winning the runoff by being possibly endorsed by Trump, but it all waned off. Yeah, it's yeah, I still remember thinking at the time, like, I know the talk was Cornyn getting endorsed by Trump, but it always just made more sense to me personally that Paxton would get the endorsement by Trump because Paxton is such a, like, loyal, diehard Trump, like, supporter from the very beginning. And Cornyn kind of just, like, shaped it that way for the campaign. Like, he's voted against Trump and probably been more vocally against Trump a lot more than Paxton ever would be. But Cornyn still think it's a smarter electoral play for Trump, but I think Trump, I'm sure, is banking on Texas being red enough to stay red no matter what. Even if Paxton wins by like 1%, a win's a win. Maybe he's banking on that, but Trump is also very bullish on James Talarico not being a very strong candidate. He keeps saying he's not a strong candidate, so I don't know. Definitely don't agree with that, but we obviously will see on election day in November how it all shakes out. But the fact that a lot of Republican senators are very concerned that Ken Paxton may cost Republicans not only the Senate race but also the House races down ballot is definitely something keep an eye out for the general. Rob Sand literally asked for 50 cents in his ads. Brian, you're the most basic guy in the chat. I mean, Rob Sand, that's a race. The Iowa governor's race is a fascinating race. I think Rob Sand's the favorite right now, but it is a very fascinating race to watch for and keep an eye out for. Governor is still 81.78, 80.47 on the Senate side. Now 72% on the Democratic side, 72.84%, 57.54. Kentucky unchanged. Alabama 45.6%. Looks like it's gone a little bit closer with Steve Marshall at 23.53, Jared Hudson 22.56. So it's definitely getting closer. Definitely getting closer on this one. 80.53% now on the Senate side. Just still waiting. Still waiting for Fulton. And now we're here, May 19th. Yep. Trump is endorsing Paxton. Yep. Here we are. Although, unless Cornyn drops out, which I don't think he's going to, I'll probably look at doing a live stream next week for the runoff election as well. I feel like that'll be an interesting one to do. Even though I think Paxton's going to win that now, but still, it will be an interesting election to see the percentages. So I'll do a live stream for that one. I think it's gotta get the videos made, get the election night made, and then get the live stream graphics and stuff ready to go. Then I'll look at doing that. Actually, never know. If the Ken Paxton video does go tomorrow, maybe I'll just use uh I'll use some of that stuff maybe for the video, maybe some of the stats and stuff we can put in the election night if it does well. Okay. Overall vote numbers, don't think it's too different. Still 25,000 separating Dooley and Buddy Carter in this current century, but I hope is still there in a Tower Governor's Paxton match. That's kind of that's kind of the like crossroads I'm at, Brian, where Texas is voting. Oh, and speak of the devil here, Derek Dooley is officially, according to Decision Desk HQ, they project that Derek Dooley will win and advance to the runoff election against Mike Collins. So Derek Dooley, the Brian Kemp-backed Republican candidate, is advancing to the runoff to face off against Mike Collins. So they're probably forecasting with the amount of vote left out there, especially the vote coming from Fulton County when it does eventually come in, it's going to be strong enough for Derek Dooley that Buddy Carter won't be able to make up the 25,000 vote deficit that he has versus Derek Dooley. So Mike Collins and Derek Dooley will advance to the runoff election to face off. Burt Jones and Rick Jackson also are facing off in this one. Interesting, the red and the gold colors both advanced on these ones. Not really too much to take away there, but I don't know, I think it's interesting. Collins, Dooley advancing on that one. On the governor's side, still no call on the Democratic side for Lance Bottoms, whether she'll avoid the runoff, but I think we're probably pretty close to calling that one as well. I think we'll see that one go through ultimately. And a few more votes in on the Alabama one. So yeah, so even though Atlanta and Fulton County have not come in yet for the overall votes, Decision Desk does project Derek Dooley will advance to the runoff with Mike Collins. Again, for the general election between Derek Dooley, Mike Collins, who does a stronger job against John Ossoff, I think we'll have to wait and see for the runoff to see how that works out. But looks like we got a few more votes out of DeKalb County. Now Derek Dooley strengthened his numbers there a little bit, it looks like. 28.98% of the way there. Now I think it's like a 24,000 vote lead for Dooley over Carter in this race. Let's see here. Buddy Carter's best ad was really making. Oh, I have not seen that, but that is something. Can you promise you'll go to that webpage sometime? The Buddy Carter one? Yeah, I'll check that out. Probably won't do it on the stream because I'm not sure how copyright stuff works, but yeah, I can. I'll check that out after done. No, plastic. I'm completely drawing a blank on this. Plastic. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I might have. I feel like I wrote this down last time, and then I was so tired after the live stream I completely forgot. Okay, this time this is what I'm gonna do. I'm literally writing it in the browser on my other monitor, so I don't forget it. Because I'm 100% gonna forget it again. So write it there. Plastic. Okay. I have it written down. Or plastic can is what it means. Is it about Ken Paxton or something? Or, I don't know. I don't know. Plastic can. Okay. Yeah, plastic can. All right. It's funny. I did what? An hour and 43 for the first stream. I've done an hour and 46 now for the second one. Well, that went by quick. 5 years today. Oh, the new Ken line. Oh, God. Oh boy. definitely, definitely feeling it a little bit. But it's funny. I don't want to end the stream before Fulton County comes in because I think just like last time I was waiting for results. I want to say, I don't think it was the Texas one. I think it was the one after the Texas one. It was it Texas? I thought there was a live stream I did after Texas that I was waiting for the results for a while that just like didn't come in for a while. But yeah, I was waiting for like the main population center to come in and it like didn't come in, then I ended it and it was just like, okay. Kenny Paxton. That is funny. Kenny Paxton, that's funny. Maybe if I fake click end stream, maybe Fulton County will start putting their votes in. The mouse is over the cursor. Nah, it didn't work. Oh well. Can't say I didn't try. Okay, so it is interesting. Mike Collins now versus Derek Dooley. As we were talking about earlier in the stream, President Trump has not made an endorsement yet in this Republican primary. Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, has. He endorsed Derek Dooley in this race. It'll be interesting to see, does Trump go with Mike Collins, who is the leading Republican vote getter, or does he probably will speak with Brian Kemp? And Kemp, I'm sure, will lobby for Dooley to get the endorsement. But with Collins finishing with more percent of the vote, 41.03, and Collins being, I believe, a pretty strong defender of President Trump, I would expect Mike Collins will get the endorsement of Trump, but we'll have to wait and see here. Wow, they really do not like each other. That's wow. It's honestly a shame that campaign has to end on the runoff. It's almost like, I mean, from a political standpoint, it's like, yeah, but from a like comedy standpoint, I kind of wish that campaign can go on for a while because that's like, it's a good line. It's vicious. It's a good line though. Maybe after the election, they could become like a comedy duo that goes around just like doing their campaign on the road. Let's see, 10:30, 10:30 Eastern time. Get nicknamed John. Oh my god! Wow. Yeah, yeah. SNL would definitely have a field day with that one, no doubt. Yeah, those two really do not like each other. That's crazy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, let's see. Handful more votes on the governor's side. Looks like Burt Jones is opening up his lead a little bit over Rick Jackson, getting another like percent or so, 38.75. Jackson down to 32.92. Though these results seem kind of baked in until Fulton County comes in. The Senate side, same thing. Nothing really is going to change too much until we get more or get any Fulton votes. On the Democratic side, 73.5% of the vote in. Keisha Lance Bottoms is winning every single county in the state of Georgia. But again, until we get Atlanta, Fulton County, we're not going to know uh, for sure. If she'll avoid the runoff, she probably will. No new votes out of the Ken Paxton, or not Ken Paxton, I'm sorry, the Ed Galrain, Thomas Massey race. Alabama, we got some more votes now, 51.23% of the vote. Barry Moore is advancing to the runoff. Steve Marshall, Jared Hudson in a tight place for second place to go to the other part of the runoff, though Trump has already endorsed Barry Moore. Barry Moore, I think, will probably end up winning this in the runoff election, but again, we'll wait and see how that goes. So we'll keep leaving it on the Senate side for now. Would you consider covering the GOP primary for Texas Attorney General? They're also in the runoff. If is that the same day as the Senate one? If it is, I can just if it's the same day, I'll do the same thing like this, where I'll have the both election results in. I don't know if I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do a separate video or election night video for it. I mean, I probably could. I probably could do an election night video for the runoff election for the Attorney General, but yeah, it's the same as the Senate one. Yeah, so I'll definitely, if I do the live stream, I'll definitely have the Attorney General one up with it. That won't be a problem. As for its own dedicated video, I haven't looked into that one too much, but I could do, yeah, Mays Milton, Chip Roy. I could do a separate video on it. I can do more. I can do more research and information on it tomorrow, and then maybe look at having its own dedicated video. Could do that. Maybe I might do that now. I'll pull up the tab just to have it. Okay. That was the first one. This is the second one. Yeah. Okay, so I'll have this loaded up, the Attorney General's race. I'll have it loaded up if I decide to do a separate video for that one as well. So let me refresh that just to also have it. Okay. So I'll have that up in case I decide to do that. Looks like I got a little bit more vote. 82.56%. I think it came from one of these counties over here. It looked like, yeah. Chatham County went up to 89.51%. Handful more votes for Buddy Carter. Though the lead for Dooley and Carter looks like it shrunk a little bit. Mike Collins and Derek Dooley both have enough to advance to the runoff, is what the projection from Decision Desk says. Buddy Carter does break 200,000 votes at 200,226. Derek Dooley's at 223,045. Let's see. Ken made an ad showing corner. During almost every commercial break, really. I would say, yeah, you must live in Texas or near Texas or something. Because I'm definitely not getting those, but I don't live in Texas. But, oh wait, I think you said in the live stream I did for the first time that you lived in Texas. I think if my memory is correct, I could be wrong, but I feel like I thought I remember you saying that. You need to watch that; they're hilarious. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's all right. That sounds familiar. Okay, man, this Fulton County vote drop is just—it's never coming, is it? There wasn't anything that went on in Fulton County, was there, about voting being extending or anything? Because that might be, if that was the case, that'd probably be why it hasn't come in yet. But I'm not aware of any of that. The riches you'll see. That's clever. That's a clever name. Let's see here. Okay, 82.27 on the Senate side. Governor side remains relatively similar, 38.81, 32.91, 14.38 for Raffensperger, Chris Carr 11.61. Democratic governor primary, Keisha Lance Bottoms 57.52 still. Kentucky, Ed Gallery now up to 90.45%, so a little more vote has come in here. And we have Ed Gallery's at 54.88, 45.12 for Massey, so that hasn't changed too much. In terms of the estimated vote remaining, still 3,000 votes in Boone County, Greenup County another 2,000, Oldham County right around 2,000. A lot of these counties though are in or nearly in this Kentucky district, but this race has been over for about a few hours now. Let's see, put back on the Senate one. Well, promise you'll watch the AI Dr. Seuss book after the stream. All right, let's AI Dr. Seuss Ken Paxton. Okay, I have that loaded up in the other stream on the other monitor too. So I got two things to check out after this is done. 83.12% now. Mike Collins at 40.89. Derek Dooley 29.06. Buddy Carter 25.91. Yeah. In terms of what to expect from this one from Mike Collins versus Derek Dooley, them being the top two candidates to advance isn't really too much of a surprise. On the poly market odds and in the polling, they've been around the leading two candidates for a decently amount of time now, probably the last like few months or so. We'll go, or not a few months, I'm sorry, a few weeks or so in Georgia. We've seen Collins at 29.9%, 19% for Derek Dooley, 15.7% for Buddy Carter. Still a lot of undecided vote, but it seems that decent amount of undecided vote was split between Carter and Dooley, and the rest of it went to Mike Collins. And then Mike Collins consolidated a lot of that support as the number one vote getter. Big reason I thought I'd be if you won the primary. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on there that I don't know about. So Cornyn definitely could be weaker. Even still, like he won by 9 points in 2024 or in 2020. I definitely don't think Cornyn, if he won the primary, was going to win by that. But at very least, he would have the fundraising advantage that a U.S. senator typically has, and the incumbent factor of a U.S. senator. So he would essentially have an unlimited amount of money versus James Talarico's like unlimited amount of money. So I think at very least it would be more of a Republican chance in that one, but yeah. Mm. I don't know. I'm assuming that was intentional. I don't think Cornyn I severely doubt Cornyn titled the video himself and did all that. I assume that was someone that works for him that knows what he's doing, but I don't know. I'm going off the assumption of that because that's honestly funnier. Governor's race 84.31% now. Senate race still 83.12. Democrat governor's race unchanged. Kentucky House race unchanged. Alabama up to 55.65%. Steve Marshall still roughly about a 6,000 vote lead over Jared Hudson. So have to wait and see ultimately. how it goes. But thus far, Marshall leading over Hudson in these places was interesting because I think Hudson definitely has more counties, but I think Marshall's looking at these counties that Marshall's losing. He seems to be performing pretty strongly in a lot of these counties, so I think he's making up these votes enough to advance to the runoff elections. Kind of what it seems like. Interesting. Let's see. No, I didn't. I didn't see that one. Um, I honestly. Oh, that's weird. Oh, there it is. I didn't see it in the chat, but now I do. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so for anyone new joining the stream, we're waiting for the final results to come in out of Fulton County in Georgia. Once those do, we'll get, even though Mike Collins and Derek Dooley are both advancing to the runoff, that's we'll get pretty locked up numbers for we'll pretty much get the final results for this race and for the governor's races and the primaries as well. Then we'll have a pretty clear idea of how things are going. I think it's 10:42, been going for about 2 hours. I may give it to like 11 or when the results come in, whichever comes first, because combined it's been close to about 4 hours today. Once you combine the first part of the stream and then this part of the stream, so it's been nearly 4 hours of streaming today. So I'll give it to 11, then we'll probably call it there. But just because it's been going on for a while, but I do have some videos coming out this week, and I do have the live stream that I'm planning to do next Tuesday for the Texas Senate race as well. So we have a lot of stuff to look forward to for that. Uh, Google Translate coming in clutch. Uh, yeah. Let's see. Any voting update? No. 34, 83. Let's see here. While we're waiting for the results coming, because I have a feeling it might be a while, I might just do one final sort of recap on some of the big races going on today. We have the 4th district, which was earlier. This was the Thomas Massey versus Ed Galrain race. And ultimately, the Republican Ed Galrain, that was backed by President Trump, ended up winning this race against the Republican incumbent Thomas Massey, the anti-Trump Republican. Galrain won this race by roughly nearly 10%, winning pretty much everywhere in the district, except for 2 counties, Mason County going very narrowly for Thomas Massey, and then Lewis County going for Massey. This is Massey's home county as well. This is where he is from, so he's able to win here. And Mason County neighboring next door. The rest of the counties all going for Ed Galrain. As for the Georgia races that are going on, the governor primary still yet to be called, but it looks like the Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms will win and will likely avoid a runoff election. For the Republican U.S. Senate race to run against Democrat John Ossoff, it is currently a runoff between Mike Collins and Derek Dooley. Collins is not backed by President Trump or Governor Brian Kemp. Derek Dooley is backed by Brian Kemp, so there will likely be an endorsement coming from President Trump for the runoff election between these two. On the governor's side, Burt Jones, the lieutenant governor, who is backed by President Trump, will advance to the runoff against businessman Rick Jackson in that primary. So that's going to be an interesting primary to see how that shakes out in the state of Georgia. And then one that's going on right now is the Alabama U.S. Senate primary. Barry Moore, the Trump endorsed Republican congressman, is advancing to the runoff election. He'll be facing off against either Steve Marshall or Jared Hudson. We're just waiting for the final votes to come in here to decide which candidate will break for the runoff. Let's see here. Yep, Blue Wave. One more question. What's up? Let's we still got 15 minutes if we go to 11, so we still got some time. I'm just doing a quick little recap of what's going on. the Cornyn was given a ton of corporate money. Well, we can't very much. Do you think that'll change? And if it does, will his campaign against James, who swore off all that kind of money? Um, Good question. It's gonna be interesting because I could definitely because the Senate map for the Republicans, I don't think are in a position where they can sacrifice like giving up on the Texas Senate race because they don't like Ken Paxton. But at the same time, I'm sure there are a lot of senators that obviously want John Cornyn to win. That may be like, we're not going to help out Paxton, or we really don't want to help out Paxton because we like John Cornyn and we'd rather not waste the money on someone they think is going to lose. And I don't think it's any question that James Talarico swearing off that stuff is definitely going to hurt, or definitely going to help him and hurt Paxton, especially among independent voters. I'm not sure how big of a role it will play, but yeah, that's true. The NRC has spent a long time trashing Ken Paxton. Now they get behind him. It'll be interesting to see the fallout of it because there's no doubt a lot of Washington Republican senators that were very disappointed in President Trump backing Ken Paxton over John Cornyn. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all ultimately shakes out because, I mean, the Senate map here, again, everything I have that's 5 points or under right now. Democrats are at 44, Republicans are at 46. Republicans are already defending incumbents in North Carolina and Maine. Obviously, Tom Tillis isn't running in North Carolina. Susan Collins is. But you could argue both of them are Democratic flips right now. And just going through here, I'll do tilt just to show which ones I did. North Carolina and Maine would get the Democrats to 46 Senate seats right there. If the Democrats hold Michigan and Georgia, which they currently have, that gets them to 48. New Hampshire, if they hold that one, to get them to 49. Then the Democrats only need to pick two more Senate seats to get the majority. If they flip, say, Mary Peltola in Alaska, that's 50-50. Of Ohio, Iowa, Nebraska, or Texas, you could argue which one that would go Democrat. I don't think all of them do. I think, for instance, I think Iowa would probably remain in the Republican side. Nebraska, Pete Ricketts, Dan Osborne, it definitely could go to the Democrats, even though he's an independent, but I do think the Republicans are still favored there. But Ohio, Texas, I mean, he's appointed, but he's a Republican incumbent in John Husted versus Sherrod Brown, or James Talarico versus Ken Paxton. I mean, you can make the argument that Talarico may have a better chance in Texas than maybe even Sherrod Brown did. It doesn't start out that way, but John Husted, I would argue, is a less scandal-plagued and better Republican candidate than Ken Paxton is. So Texas could play a very important role. And if Republicans don't defend Texas and they'll put a ton of money into it and sort of just let Paxton be on his own, it's possible the Democrats pull off the upset and win the state of Texas. Even if Paxton finds a way to win it and win it very narrowly, the Republicans are going to have to spend a ton of money in Texas defending it, more for Paxton than they probably would have for John Cornyn, and that may hurt their ability to hold Senate races in Alaska or Ohio or Iowa or Nebraska, or try and flip Georgia or Michigan or New Hampshire. So Paxton being the Republican candidate, even if the Republicans find a way to hold Texas, I do still think hurts the Republicans down ballot. So if you're a Democrat and you want to see the Democrats do well in November, I think Paxton being the Republican candidate is certainly better news for that. Is Ohio or Texas more likely in your eyes? What makes Texas hard for Dems to win is it's not just red, it's large red. That's the thing, is Ohio on paper is more of a likely flip state, I would say, than Texas is. Just going off the 2024 results alone, Ohio is 11.2%. It's a former swing state. Texas is 13.7%, reliably red state. But in 2020, Texas voted red by 5.6%, and Ohio went red by 8%. And when you look at the overall trends of the states here, wrong one, look at the trends of the states here. From 2020 to 2024, Ohio moved 3.2% red, Texas moved 8.1%. But from 2016, Ohio moved 3.1%, Texas 4.7%. 2012, Ohio has moved very red, 14.2. Texas has moved red by 2.1. So Texas, you could argue for a while before 2024, was trending to be more of a bluer state. So from the trend standpoint, you would argue Texas is more likely. From the overall reliability, yes, Texas is more red than Ohio is. The early polling thus far, Democrats and James Talarico are technically polling better in Texas than Sherrod Brown is in Ohio. So it's it's interesting because they're kind of even when all the factors kind of play out. The Democrats technically doing better in Texas on the polling aspect. Ohio, I would argue, is more of a competitive state than Texas is, but you can kind of go either way, to be honest. So it's not really a great answer, but kind of go either way there. And wow, still no votes out of Fulton County. I thought for sure that would have happened while I was doing that. If El Sayed wins the primary, I hope his name ID increases during post-primary campaigning and wins the general, just like Talarico's name ID increased during the primary and won the primary. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with El Sayed because I do think Michigan is going. I mean, it's clear in the polls thus far. El Sayed versus Rogers gives the Republicans the best chance of winning. But then again, when you look at the polls where it does say that, it's like Rogers at 45, El Sayed's at 40. So there's still a lot of undecided vote in a more democratic election environment. I still would bet on Michigan going blue, but definitely El Sayed versus Rogers, Republicans can win. Definitely El Sayed can consolidate Democratic support like Talarico did. I think Talarico and El Sayed maybe are different types of Democratic candidates, but I mean, Michigan's a swing state that barely voted for Trump in 2024 and voted for Biden closely in 2020 and barely voted for Trump in 2016. So the Democrat winning in the general election there would be pretty easy, or not easy, but I think would be easier than Texas or Ohio. I think if El Santo nominee, he would still win. I don't see the state that hasn't elected a red senator in a decade, the first red senator during a blue wave year. I also think that's the driving factor in Michigan. Is I think if Mike Rogers lost the Senate race in 2024 to Elisa Slogin, now if it was Abdul El Sayed versus Mike Rogers in 2024, I would say I think Mike Rogers would have won that Senate race, and I don't think that's a very hot take. But Abdul El Sayed versus Mike Rogers in a Democratic midterm and Trump's second term, blue wave. I agree with you. I don't think it's the likeliest to happen. It's not impossible, but I don't think it's the likeliest scenario for that to happen in 2026. But again, this is what elections are for. We'll find out once the election takes place. Looks like we got a little bit more vote, 85.3% of the vote. Collins at 40.95. Derek Dooley's at 29.12. Let's see the governor's side. 86.47% of the vote in now, 38.8 to 32.8. The Democrat governor's side still uncalled, but Lance Bottoms is leading everywhere. Kentucky, no more voting yet. Alabama, up to 62% of the vote in there. 41.28 for Barry Moore. Marshall and Jared Hudson are very close now. 4,000 votes separating them, 24.3 to 23.3. So a 1 point separation there as that race is ongoing. So we'll have to keep an eye on that race as things come in and see ultimately how it all shakes out. So let's see here. 10:53. Okay, we're at 284 total views for this stream. So we're going to go. I mean, I wanted to end by 11, but I want to also break 300 just because that'd be a nice number to hit. So we're going to keep going until we break 300. Then once we do that, I think we'll end it there. Let's see. First, I endorsed McMorrow, which I mentioned in one of your lives. Yep, and switched to El Sayed, then retracted after a poll accurate poll showing Rogers leading El Sayed. I mean, yeah, it's right now the current polls definitely show El Sayed losing to Mike Rogers, but also, it's worth noting it's a divided Democratic primary. Rogers is really the only Republican running, so he's going to have a higher floor of support. He also did get, what was it? Rogers did get roughly 48.3% of the vote in 2024. So Rogers at around 45% really isn't saying much because, barring like complete Democratic blowout, Rogers will break 45% pretty easily on election night. Will he get 48.3%? That's going to be a question for a different day, but we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. We haven't seen a Senate race in a midterm in Michigan since 2018, and the Republican then, John James, got 45.76. So Rogers may break 45%, but he may not break it all by much. It's similar to that Senate race, though it was against a Democratic incumbent in Debbie Stabenow. Are we going to see a Senate race closer to the 2024 one or the 2018 one? That's going to be the question ultimately, I think, for Michigan. We'll have to see how that all plays out. Maybe it's a hot take, but even though passing this on, I think he's gonna be under. No, I think it's a fair point. I don't really like the stuff like that in politics and campaigning, the nasty stuff. I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, but Yeah, I don't know because politics is really nasty. People say what they say, they do what they do, and like at the bottom line, they're trying to win. They're trying to like crush their opponents, and then once they win, it's kind of like water under the bridge. Like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump were like vicious arch enemies in 2016, and then by 2018, Ted Cruz is up for the Senate race. Looks like he might lose. All of a sudden, him and Trump are best friends again, campaigning for each other. 2024, same thing, best friends again. Ted Cruz, Trump campaigning with them in the Senate race. So definitely, it's very nasty work, but that's kind of just the way it's played. Policy, yeah. Could he get in trouble for that? For could who get in trouble for what? Could he get in trouble for putting that in his ads? Um, Mentioning policy in your ads works instead of morals and personality. Um, I mean, Paxson could technically. Oh, your past message. Which one was that? You're talking about the divorce one. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. I mean, the worst case probably for both would probably be just like they sue each other for defamation or something, and then probably just settles the case. I don't think it any serious stuff. I recall in a class I took in school I was talking about defamation lawsuits for politics and news and stuff, and usually they were pretty hard. Or look about no, my past message. Which one? I thought it was the hot take one. The Pax was it the Pax one or the one before that? I'm on. I might be on the wrong thing again. Maybe this is the first. Okay, I think I'm on. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm on the right part now. I gotta just remember to start that. Hit the live chat part before it. Okay, so it's 10:59 p.m. So just about 11. But based on the total views that they started the stream, we're at 293. So we're just a bit shy of 300. So I'll keep going a little bit longer until we break 300 total throughout the night. Then I'll end the stream there. Been over 2 hours and 18 minutes on this one. Let's see, so still not really any updates yet on the Senate race in Georgia as we're waiting for votes out of Fulton County. The governor's race, a handful of more votes have come in, 86.6% in this one. On the Democrat governor side, few more votes, but nothing really has changed significantly there. Kentucky, no more votes yet out of this race. Alabama, another 1% of the vote has come in. Steve Marshall and Jared Hudson still fighting for second place in the runoff election against Barry Moore. Although Barry Moore, it's interesting. Barry Moore's at 47.28% of the vote. And the other candidates are running in this race. It's not impossible Barry Moore breaks 50% when all the votes come in. I don't think he will at 47.28, but he's right there. He's uh right near the margin to get to that. So typically a candidate's. I'm in the live chat one where it shows all the messages. I'm not seeing anything from typically a candidate's. I should be on the I should be on the right chat one. Unless my thing's like loading too slowly, it's not refreshing or something, but I don't see anything like that. Hmm. Yeah, so for some reason, Blue Wave, that comment the first time didn't pop up in the chat, but the one you just typed, I see. Typically, the candidates doesn't go to fun. If they lose, what happens if during the general? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure even if Paxton wins, like I don't know if Cornyn's going to come out and says we have to support Ken Paxton and do all that stuff. I think there might be a situation of he just like kind of quietly like is a senator but doesn't go out of his way to help Ken Paxton. So he may leave that page up, sort of like a he would like for the Senate race to be a Republican, but if it's Ken Paxton, maybe like a I'm not. It's kind of like the old Batman begin, not really old, but the Batman Begins quote where it's like I'm not gonna hurt you, but I'm not gonna like try and help you either. Paraphrasing kind of. Oh, mm. What if James redirects people to John's old websites to have free advertising against him? No, no, but aren't you saying John's old websites to use against Ken Paxton? That's what you're saying, right? Yeah, if that's what you're saying, like yeah, I think that will happen. Yes, yeah, no, no, I agree. I'm saying I think all I'm saying is I think Cornyn would probably leave those up and wouldn't really try and get in the way of that. Like Paxton may draw attention to that, but Cornyn would kind of basically I don't think Cornyn would do anything to like lift a finger to try and help Ken Paxton out after how this primaries played out, after how nasty it's been, after Trump endorsing Paxton in the runoff. What I'm saying is I think Cornyn would leave those up and he may be like well, you're the nominee. I'm not gonna go out of my way to help you. I think it's Paxton. I'm sure if he's not, if Talarico's not thinking it, people that either work for him or work with him or something, or consultants, I'm sure, are probably giving him similar advice on that on ways to go after Paxton. If there's one thing I'm sure that's going to happen in that race is the Democrats are going to have a field day of material going after Ken Paxton on, no doubt about that. No doubt at all. Let's see. Maybe Paxton has troubles can be handled mostly by the media and some of Helmut Tyreko. Like what happened to Mark Robinson in 2024. I think it's definitely possible. The only or Brian, the only thing I would say is I don't know if the governor's race with Mark Robinson in 2024 for his Senate race is going to play the exact same. Like I don't think Tallarico is going to win this race by like 14 points or something. But what you're saying about it, like handling the media and a little bit by Tallarico, I think certainly could be a situation. It could almost be like a Herschel Walker type thing in the Georgia Senate race where it hurt him enough where he lost the initial vote and then the runoff lost by like nearly 3 points. Could be something a similar scenario to that. Could see something like that maybe unfolding. Uh, Talarico's not aggressive enough. Crockett needs to be his campaign manager or something. Talarico and Crockett teaming up with Crockett as his campaign manager would be a very, very entertaining thing to see happen. Sorry, that one. Abbott saying Texas is more red now or something among those lines after redistricting. You know, for all that. Yeah, I mean that's a redistrict. I don't really have too much to say about that. It's just he's the governor of the state. He had the ability to do it, and I don't really have much to say on that one. But yeah, he's up for he's up for election 2026. So we'll find out how Texas really feels about him. If Texas likes him, they'll vote for him again. If they don't like him, vote him out. We'll see. How can influence? Oh no, no, no! I know you're saying, but I was just saying I think that type of scandal may have more of an impact on a governor's race. For some reason, governor's races are just more localized and they're more prone to like swings for the opposite party. Like for some reason, Senate races are just so national where like the national politics of the president and Senate elections get called in. So I just, even if the scandal like that, I still think Paxton at the very least would have a decent chance of winning just due to that nature alone. But I do certainly understand and see what you're saying there. Okay. Okay. So we're at 11:06 p.m. Eastern. I think I'll give it to 11:10. Then I think I'll start to do a quick little wrap up after that. So giving Georgia one final chance for Fulton County to come in, but we'll see how it goes. The governor's race, a little bit of an update on the Republican vote side, not a ton. Senate race, a little bit of an update as well. The Democratic side still sitting at where it's been. The Kentucky House race from earlier is still at 90.45%. Alabama Senate race is now up to 77.43%. So more vote has come in out of Alabama. Where it's at right now, let me just grab some water real quick. No way they put votes out of Fulton now that I switched. No way. Oh, come on. No, okay. All right. No. No votes out of Fulton. No votes out of Fulton. I think. Yeah, no votes out of Fulton yet. Maybe they are. They just haven't updated yet on mine, but nothing yet. But I'll do a quick look at Alabama. They'll come back to Georgia. I'm sure they'll be there. As for Alabama, Barrymore is now at 46.93%, so just a little bit shy of the 50% for a potential runoff. But the stream about to end. So, oh, you were oh, come on. Okay, all right, that was good. That was good. No, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. That was good. 78.38% in Alabama. Barrymore, Steve Marshall, Jared Hudson still up for grabs here. Barrymore doesn't look like he's going to break 50%, so he'll probably go to the runoff, but whether Marshall or Hudson will join him, still waiting to see there. And on the Democratic side, actually, before we end the stream, some final news on the Democratic side. Keisha Lance Bottoms has officially been declared the winner. So she will not be a runoff election. She will break 50% once all the votes are in. Keisha Lance Bottoms will be the Democratic nominee for governor, and she'll be facing off against either Burt Jones or I'm blanking on his name. Oh my God, Rick Jackson. The two Republicans heading to the runoff. So we do know Keisha Lance Bottoms will officially do that and face off in that race. So that's pretty significant news now. So we now know the Republican governor's race is heading to a runoff, and the Democratic side is now done. That does give the Democrats a little bit of a added time advantage, as Keisha Lance Bottoms now doesn't have to worry about a runoff. She can just campaign for the general election now, while the Republicans still have the runoff to go. The U.S. Senate race, we know Mike Collins and Derek Dooley will be advancing to the runoff, and then Buddy Carter does fall a bit short of reaching that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's do a final quick check of the chat. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. You're gonna hate me. I don't get this reference at all. Sorry. I know you're having fun with it. I don't get this. Yeah, sorry. I just know the second I hit end stream that Fulton County's coming in. I know it's gonna happen, but it's okay. Okay, so we're at 229 or 2 hours and 29 minutes. We'll go to 2 hours and 30 at least, and then we'll start wrapping it up there. One final check in after that, then I think we'll be good. Yeah. Do appreciate everyone watching the stream. As we know, we did do one earlier. We stopped for a little bit. We came back. So I do appreciate you coming back and watching for about 2 hours and 30 minutes of this stream. So I do appreciate you stopping by and watching this one. Certainly longer than the last one. Do have some videos coming out. We have a video coming out tomorrow. We'll have one video every single day coming out the next week. Then we're going to have the runoff election next Tuesday for the Texas U.S. Senate race of Ken Paxton versus John Cornyn. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Let's see here. One final check-in. We'll go across the board here. Maybe we'll pull up the results from the Kentucky U.S. Senate race as well, just so I can fully go over everything that took place today. Do one final check-in, then we'll wrap it there. I don't know if they'd have called the one for Kentucky. Okay, interesting. All right, so final quick little wrap up here. The Kentucky U.S. Senate Democratic primary ended with the Democratic candidate Charles Booker winning the nomination against Amy McGrath, the nominee for U.S. Senate, I believe in 2020. Charles Booker won it in, I want to say it was 2022 or 2024. I think it was 2022. And Booker wins this one. He'll be the Democratic nominee. He'll be facing off against Andy Barr, the Trump-endorsed Republican congressman. He defeated Daniel Cameron in this race to be the Republican candidate. Oh, I also did forget the 6th district, which is Andy Barr's current congressional district, also had a Republican primary. And Ralph Alvarado won this race. So he'll be running to be the next congressman from this district to succeed Andy Barr. And then, yeah, Charles Booker won the Democratic primary. Andy Barr won the Republican primary, winning most of the districts across the state of Kentucky. The Texas Attorney General one, that'll be for later. Alabama U.S. Senate, Barry Moore, we know is going to be one of the Republicans advancing to a runoff election, unless he finds a way to break 50%. Steve Marshall and Jared Hudson are still fighting it out for second place to advance to the runoff. So Steve Marshall currently has a narrow lead of about 4,000 votes or so. But we'll have to wait and see for the final results before we know for sure on that one. The Kentucky U.S. House, the 4th district, this is Thomas Massie versus Trump-backed Ed Galrain. This was the big story of the night, and Ed Galrain defeats Thomas Massie, takes him down in the Republican primary, so President Trump wins and gets his wish on that one. Georgia Governor 2026 on the Democratic side, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the former mayor, and Fulton County finally comes in. Fulton County comes in on the Democratic side for Keisha Lance Bottoms, getting 47.68% of the vote in Fulton County. Lance Bottoms across the state getting 56.12%. So she'll be the Democratic nominee for governor. On the U.S. Senate side, finally, we have votes for Fulton County after waiting all night. To pull up for orange. Hold on. Fulton County finally comes in at 84.79% of the vote. Derek Dooley does very well here. He gets 45.46%. So Atlanta comes in as I'll pull up for Oregon. Okay. Derek Dooley does very well here in Fulton County, as really is expected. He advances to the runoff election with U.S. Republican Representative Mike Collins. Dooley now getting roughly about 30% of the vote. Collins getting about 40.48% of the vote. And Buddy Carter getting 214,489 votes at 25.34%. So Dooley and Collins advance to the runoff. As for the Georgia governor's race now, Burt Jones standing at 38.25 after Fulton County comes in. Rick Jackson does do better here. Jackson's at 32.74% of the vote there. Will you please pull up for Oregon? Okay, so let me do one quick check to see what Oregon is. Oregon going on tonight too? Okay, here we go. Anything particular in Oregon you want me to see, or just want me to pull up? I can just pull up all of them, honestly. It'll probably be easier. So there's the U.S. Senate race on the Republican side. We'll check this one first. David Smith, the Republican, is leading Joe Ray Perkins and Brent Barker in this race right now, so it's still uncalled. The polls did close not too long ago, I do believe. Those Oregon's what? 10 p.m., I believe it is, on the East Coast, so still ways to go in the Senate primary here in Oregon, but that's going to be safe Democrat at the general election level. The governor's race is going to be probably more competitive, but the House race, the first district, Suzanne Bonamici won here. No really surprises there. As for the governor's race, the Democratic governor, Tina Kotek, wins her primary against Brittany Jones and Forrest Alexander and advances to that. You want GOP governor in Proposition 120? Okay. Let's do the Oregon governor. This is Christine Drazen taking on Ed Deal and Chris Dudley. Right now, and there are a lot of candidates in the race, but right now, Christine Drazen is leading at 42.9%. Ed Deal is at 33.08% of the vote, and Dudley's at 15.27%. So still uncalled with roughly about 60% of the vote in. But it does seem like Christine Drazen is leading at this current point in time. She was the nominee in, I believe, 2022. Will probably be the nominee again in 2026. So that is the Oregon governor. And then you wanted Proposition 120. Crap, Drazen sucks. Oh, sorry to hear that. Prop 120. Okay, Oregon. Or maybe it's a ballot measure, maybe. 2026 Oregon measure 120, increase gas tax, payroll tax, or vehicle registration. That sounds like it. Let's see here. Okay, Oregon measure 120, increase the gas tax, payroll tax, and vehicle registration fees. It fails 82% or 82.73 no, 17.27% yes. That's the Oregon measure 120. Let's see here. Got a few comments here. Please look up that song. It's called The Kids from Yesterday. It's great. The Kids from Yesterday. Okay. I have that loaded up on the thing as well. I got a lot of homework after the stream ends. I'll be voting early this week in the Dem runoff, either Thursday or Friday for Oregon. Just that one. Do you think Democratic underperformance in the Georgia Supreme Court races signify the ending of the Democratic momentum? Honestly, I don't really think so. I think the primaries for Georgia, the governor's race was kind of all but assuredly locked up. John Ossoff, the Democratic incumbent senator, didn't have a primary challenge going on. So I don't think there was a ton of like motivating factors the Democrats get on the vote. So I don't think it's going to be an end of the momentum per se. Because of how red Texas voted in the century, I wish I lived in New Jersey, Connecticut, Colorado, Nevada. From Nevada, it's not nice. Yeah, when I've gone there, Tom Steyer from California. Oh, I'm sure the Tom Steyer ads in Nevada must be really fun. That governor's race is coming up pretty soon too, I do believe. So yeah, so Oregon measure 120 ultimately goes down. Oregon governor Drazen still leading 42.9 to 33.08. I may decide to do a video sort of just wrapping all these up. Oregon governor, Texas Attorney General will put over here for now. It's gonna be for a later date. But that's Kentucky House 6. We don't really need this one so much anymore. I want to see anything I missed. U.S. Senate race, Georgia, we got that. Georgia governor, we got that. Georgia House, I think we're good. The governor's race in Alabama, we'll look at that one quickly. Doug Jones won there, unsurprisingly. The Senate race, Everett West and DeCary Lariat are two Democrats advancing to a runoff election for the Democratic primary. For the general election, going to get beat by the Republicans, but they're for the runoff. Secretary of State, the Republican Caroline Dobson, wins this primary and will be the Republican candidate for that. Kentucky U.S. Senate race, we got the House districts, I do believe, got there. Pennsylvania, the House Democratic primary is underway here. The 10th district, Janelle Stelson won this one again. The 7th district, this is going to be a competitive district in the fall. Robert Brooks, the Democrat, won here against Ryan Crosswell in Lamont Clare. Let's see, anything missing here? The 3rd district in Philadelphia, Democrat Christopher Rabb won this Democratic primary. In the 1st district, this is, I believe, the I'm blanking on the name, but this is a Republican, I think Fitzpatrick's district. Robert Harvey wins this Democratic primary. Okay, so that's where things are in Pennsylvania. Idaho, Republican U.S. Senator Jim Risch wins his primary. Roth wins the Democratic primary for Senate. For governor in Idaho, Terry Pickens, only 25% of the vote in, but Pickens wins the Democratic primary for governor. Oregon Governor Brad Little wins his primary. In Oregon, we just covered. So that's pretty much it for tonight. We can go through in a video that's either going to come out tomorrow or on Thursday, going more in depth of all the races that took place, all the notable races that we've gone over here, and we can do quick recaps on each of those in that video. I'll do one final check of the chat before we end it here. Everyone's here to start being astonished from them. I think the opposite is true. Like her, Larry, one answering one of them. Okay, so I think we're all pretty much all set, all good to go. We're at 2 hours and 41 minutes on the stream, so I appreciate everyone stopping by and watching tonight and watching the earlier stream in the night as well. Again, stay tuned for all those videos I have coming out and the next live stream which I'm planning to do next Tuesday. For now, thank you so much for watching. Again, please remember to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in either the next video or the next live stream. Have a good night.